A local lottery center stands unassuming, the source of one man's incredible fortune. Inside, Mr. Fan is congratulated for winning the jackpot again, receiving a check for 10 million yuan. The winner, however, is a man in a bizarre green fish mask, much to the staff's surprise. An employee pleads with him to ditch the strange disguise, but he claims it's for security and to protect his luck. His business concluded, the mysterious winner leaves the building with his prize money. Once safely outside, he finally begins to remove the odd green mask. Underneath is a handsome young man, Fan Xiao, who reveals he's a superhuman with a unique ability. His power allows him to accumulate luck, guaranteeing a massive win after saving it up. This incredible ability, however, comes at a steep price, a month of enduring constant, terrible misfortune. With a sinister grin, he wonders what would happen if he endured 2 months of hardship for an even greater reward. 2 months later, Fan Xiao is out for a jog, having endured his self-imposed bad luck. He pauses for a moment, the strain of the past weeks clearly showing on his face. From the shadows, a starving figure watches him run, seeing him only as a potential meal. A sudden chill runs down his spine, forcing him to stop and confront the unseen threat. A crazed man with inhuman features leaps out, declaring his intent to devour Fan Xiao. Fan Xiao identifies his assailant as an evolved, realizing his misfortune has attracted a new level of danger. Anticipating trouble, he calmly pulls a small spray can from his pocket. Without hesitation, he blasts the creature's face with a powerful stream of pepper spray. The attacker is instantly incapacitated, his face contorted in sheer agony from the chemical assault. Seizing the opportunity, Fan Xiao delivers a swift kick, sending the blinded man to the ground. He pulls out a rope, having come fully prepared for this exact situation. With the attacker neatly tied up, he casually calls the emergency line to report the assault. His next stop is a familiar one, the local police station. Inside, a weary officer questions just how many times Fan Xiao has shown up to file a report. Fan Xiao calmly states his record, 47 criminals captured and 112 reports filed. The officer jokingly suggests he join the force, given his uncanny knack for stumbling upon trouble. He explains his attacker was an evolved, pointing to recent news reports of similar strange incidents. The officer scoffs at the notion, dismissing the evolved as nothing more than an urban legend. Fan Xiao internally smirks, knowing the truth because he himself is one of these rumored beings. Leaving the station, he walks alone into the night, his secret safe for now. He reflects on the recent attack, realizing his gamble with luck almost cost him his life. A month ago, mysterious mutations began, creating super-strong predators known as the Evolved. His thoughts are interrupted by a small, husky nudging against his leg. The friendly dog looks up at him, barking playfully, but his reaction is anything but friendly, his gaze turning sharp and intense. The husky immediately senses danger, its eyes widening in pure terror. He recognizes the dog as a neighbor's pet, breaking out in a cold sweat. A monstrous predatory urge surfaces, viewing the small animal as nothing but a meal. He fights back the terrifying impulse, stumbling away from the confused husky. Safely back in his apartment, he's left to contemplate his own monstrous transformation. Fan Xiao grapples with his insatiable hunger, a side effect of his transformation. He searches online for information about evolved individuals. His search yields no results, suggesting a cover-up. Fan Xiao fears succumbing to his primal instincts. He clenches his fist, determined to resist the monstrous urges. A strange energy emanates from his body. He reacts with surprise as something unexpected happens. A futuristic interface appears, identifying him as an evolved. The interface presents him with class options: Star of Bad Luck, Dark Knight, or Assassin. He contemplates the choices, finding some options less appealing than others. After brief consideration, he decisively chooses the path of the Assassin. The system confirms his class and offers him a unique talent draw, reminding him that luck is a part of his power. He smirks confidently, knowing his 2 months of accumulated fortune are about to be put to the test. Focusing all his will, he initiates the talent draw, hoping his gamble pays off. His luck proves immense, granting him an incomplete A-rank talent, the Angel of Slaughter. He processes the information, realizing he now has an invisible, teleporting bodyguard powered by his own negative emotions. A wave of excitement hits him as he considers the incredible power he gained from his 2-month ordeal. His player panel appears, immediately followed by a countdown for his first official test, the selection dungeon. As the timer hits 0, a powerful energy envelops him, pulling him into the trial. A final notification confirms his fate. The selection dungeon has officially begun. The system reveals his trial: a ruined city, a horde of monsters, and a mission to register as a player. In a blinding flash, Fan Xiao is forcefully transported, his eyes wide with shock. He lands hard on a tiled floor, pushing himself up to take in his new grim surroundings. He quickly realizes his self-defense kit is gone, a deliberate handicap to level the playing field. Looking up, he sees he's not alone, and that a group of strangers has been pulled into the trial with him. A man in a suit and a college student are already comparing notes, confirming they share the same mission. Fan Xiao silently observes the other participants, a motley crew of unwilling players. A hooded youth, a middle-aged man, and a frightened woman struggle to accept their new reality. He also spots two high school sisters, the older one comforting the younger while clutching a creepy doll. The middle-aged man immediately makes a move on the nervous woman, offering his protection. The woman recoils in terror, desperately trying to fend off the man's unwanted advances. In her panic, she stumbles backward and collapses onto the hard floor. She winces in pain, now completely vulnerable to the man's predatory gaze. The man's intentions are made disgustingly clear by his leering expression. Just as he's about to make his move, the hooded youth steps in, reminding him of their grim reality. The older sister interrupts the tense standoff, announcing that the safe period has officially begun. The shaken woman cautiously suggests they delay their departure, fearing the monsters might still be a threat. However, the college student counters her suggestion, revealing the mission's unspoken urgency. He explains that dwindling supplies and the vastness of the city create a race against time. The woman is taken aback, the full weight of their desperate situation finally dawning on her. The man in the suit concedes the point, realizing the urgency and agreeing they must act immediately. Convinced, the group of 8 survivors heads towards the warehouse exit, ready to face the unknown. Fan Xiao's attention is drawn to the younger sister's creepy doll, suspecting it might be a special game item. A chilling thought crosses his mind. What if another evolved with a taste for human flesh is hiding among them? He eyes the hooded youth and the man in the suit, believing those who conceal themselves are the most suspicious. The group steps out of the relative safety of the warehouse and into the desolate city courtyard. They are immediately dwarfed by the sheer scale of the ruined metropolis surrounding them. The man in the suit voices his concern, noting that searching such a massive city will be an overwhelming task. The college student proposes a shortcut, suggesting they look for train stations to find the temporary registration point. However, the man in the suit shoots down the plan as wishful thinking, reminding him they don't even have a map. The man in the suit reconsiders, acknowledging the college student's sharp intellect and valuable opinion. He approaches the student with a newfound respect, asking to formally introduce themselves. The student introduces himself as Fan Jianqiang, and the man immediately asks for his plan. Fan Xiao interrupts, stating their priority is finding a map and suggesting a metro station as their best bet. While the student points out the limitations of subway maps, Fan Xiao clarifies they only need to find a few key locations. Convinced by the solid plan, the group agrees to move, with the middle-aged man growing impatient. The predatory man shifts his attention to the sisters, but the older one fiercely tells him to back off. 30 minutes later, their search pays off as they finally discover the entrance to a metro station. They hesitate at the top of the dark stairs, terrified of what monsters might be lurking in the shadows below. Just then, Fan Xiao produces a lit match, surprising the group with his resourcefulness. He then uses the match to light a makeshift torch, bathing the entrance in a warm glow. Holding the torch aloft, he prepares to lead the way, but the college student tells him to hold on. The man in the suit also shouts a warning, stopping Fan Xiao just before he descends into the darkness. He reveals his enhanced hearing, announcing that he can sense 4 monsters lurking below. The college student is stunned, asking if this incredible hearing is the man's special talent. The student seems confused when the man doesn't understand, asking if everyone else has developed their talents yet. Fan Xiao cuts in, asking the man what animal he hunted, linking his ability to the evolved's predatory instincts. The man admits his urges became too strong, so he finally gave in and bought a dog. Removing his hat, he proudly reveals a pair of dog ears, explaining he gained canine senses. The college student is amazed, confessing he also struggled with the evolved hunger before becoming a beta player. Fan Xiao bluntly asked the man in the suit what it was like to eat a raw dog. He quickly dismisses the question, claiming he was just curious about the experience. Leaning in, Fan Xiao poses an even more unsettling question, his eyes hidden in shadow. He whispers, asking if the man's hunger ever drove him to consider eating humans. The man with dog ears is utterly horrified by the shocking suggestion. He stumbles back in disgust, questioning Fan Xiao's disturbing line of thought. Fan Xiao analyzes the man's reaction, convinced his shock is too genuine to be an act. He then casually dismisses the terrifying question as a simple joke, easing the tension. The college student laughs with relief, admitting Fan Xiao's dark humor had him genuinely worried. The woman and the hooded youth cut in, demanding they stop fooling around and find another way forward. Fan Xiao argues that changing locations is pointless, as all metro entrances are likely filled with monsters. The man with dog ears agrees with Fan Xiao's assessment and rallies the group to move forward. The woman and the middle-aged man refuse to go, paralyzed by fear, but the hooded youth silences their outburst. The college student still hopes for an easier way, suggesting they check another entrance just in case. Tired of the debate, Fan Xiao tells them to do as they wish and descends into the darkness alone. He internally reveals his true goal, to test the power of his level A talent against real threats. He ventures deeper into the station, passing a grim pile of skeletons as another survivor follows close behind. The man with dog ears calls out, having decided not to let Fan Xiao face the danger alone. He and the two sisters commit to following, choosing to stick together despite the risks. The older sister explains her decision to follow, wanting to see the map for herself, which Fan Xiao acknowledges as wise caution. The college student offers to memorize the map, and Fan Xiao readily accepts his help. Suddenly, the older sister recoils in fear, grabbing the man with dog ears for safety. The younger sister points frantically, alerting the group to a monster lurking in the darkness ahead. Fan Xiao's torch reveals a hulking red-skinned beast crouched on the station floor. The creature appears to be dormant, its massive, muscular form exuding a sinister aura. The survivors cautiously press against the wall, attempting to sneak past the terrifying obstacle. Just then, Fan Xiao's expression shifts as he makes a sudden, crucial discovery. He confidently tells the group to halt, announcing he has already located their objective. With his torch, he illuminates a massive, complete map of Wybe plastered on the station wall. Back on the surface, the man with dog ears is stunned, unable to believe Fan Xiao memorized the entire map so quickly. Fan Xiao casually redraws the entire city map from memory, dismissing his incredible feat as a simple reflex. The older sister is stunned, confirming that his detailed drawing perfectly matches her own hazy recollection. Just then, the rest of their group, who had stayed behind, spots them from down the street. The woman expresses her relief, apologizing for letting her fear get the better of her. The older sister sternly reminds them that teamwork is essential for survival, and bailing at the first sign of danger is unacceptable. The middle-aged man argues back defiantly, but the sister coldly tells him he can forget about seeing the map. He tries to rally the others to his side, challenging her authority in front of the hooded youth. Without warning, the hooded youth smacks the man on the back of the head, silencing his complaints. The youth then apologizes for their group's cowardice, promising full cooperation from now on. The final member of their hesitant faction also apologizes, admitting his fear got the best of him and vowing to cooperate. The middle-aged man glares with pure rage, humiliated by the hooded youth's actions. The older sister coldly challenges him, daring him to continue his defiance. He begrudgingly apologizes out loud, while silently vowing to get his revenge later. The man with dog ears steps in, urging the group to focus on survival instead of infighting. Fan Xiao then proposes a risky plan to split up, much to the college student's horror. He justifies the decision as the most efficient way to cover all three stations, prompting a question about team assignments. The older sister quickly claims the eastern station for herself and her sibling, leaving the others to sort themselves out. The middle-aged man tries to join the sister's group, only to be immediately shut down by the older sister. He smirks with arrogance, challenging her authority and declaring he'll do as he pleases. Their argument intensifies as the sister repeats her order, but the man defiantly tells her to back off. The middle-aged man defiantly insists on joining the Eastern Station team, challenging the sister's authority. The college student suddenly intervenes, wrapping an arm around the defiant man and proposing they all go together. This unexpected move makes the middle-aged man deeply suspicious of the student's true motives. Fan Xiao hands over the map, explaining he has it memorized, and the college student expresses his trust in their new leader. The hooded youth steps in to finalize the plan, assigning himself and the man with dog ears as the other two team leaders. The woman with green hair chooses the northern station, and the other man from her original group agrees to join her. The college student eagerly confirms his partnership with Fan Xiao, who stoically agrees to depart. The newly formed teams separate, heading down the empty streets toward their assigned metro stations. As they walk, the middle-aged man's face is ominously obscured, hinting at his unspoken resentment. A close-up reveals his furious glare, confirming he is already plotting his revenge. The two sisters head toward their destination, the younger one relying on the older for comfort. Meanwhile, the middle-aged man imagines the sisters in a vulnerable and desperate state. He fumes over their defiance, seeing their separation as the perfect opportunity for payback. A sudden hand on his shoulder snaps him back to reality. He turns to find the college student, who questions his sinister intentions. The student then makes a surprising comment about the sisters' appeal. The man is confused by this, but the student's creepy smile tells him to drop the act. Revealing a chilling desire, the student suggests they are both predators eyeing the same prey. The older man is stunned to find a fellow cannibal, who confesses he's had to suppress his urges. However, the student's demeanor changes completely, smugly declaring his trap has been sprung. The middle-aged man reveals his desperation, explaining his insatiable hunger is why he insisted on following the sisters. The student elaborates on their curse, noting that cannibals lose their animal abilities but gain superior physical strength. He then boasts of having 5 abilities before losing them, shocking the older man who thought 3 was the maximum. The man recounts his own descent into madness after consuming animals, still doubting the student's claim. Their disturbing conversation is cut short, as the older sister stops in her tracks, having overheard everything. She stares in utter horror, realizing with dawning terror that the two men are cannibals. With their secret exposed, the student coldly proposes they divide the sisters between them, claiming the older one for himself. The older man transforms into a hulking brute, agreeing to the plan but adding a sinister condition. With glowing red eyes and a monstrous grin, he reveals his desire to torment their prey first. The older sister bravely stands her ground, trying to reason with the monstrous duo by warning them of the consequences. The monstrous man glares, momentarily taken aback by the sister's bold threat. The student calmly outlines their alibi, planning to frame a monster for whatever happens next. With a chilling smile, he dismisses her warning, certain no one will avenge 2 strangers. The older sister shoves her sibling to safety, preparing to face the 2 cannibals alone. She throws her glowing doll forward, commanding her terrified sister to escape. The brute mocks her bravery, winding up a massive punch to crush her defiance. In a flash, she summons a wall of sharp spikes from the ground, attempting to block his attack. His punch shatters her defense, sending a shockwave that throws her off balance. But her possessed doll latches onto the brute's shoulder, sinking its teeth into him. Staggering back, the older sister desperately screams for her sibling to run and find the others. The brute roars in fury, effortlessly shattering the possessed doll against his muscular chest. The older sister stares in abject terror, realizing her desperate gambit has failed. Before she can react, the monster closes the distance and violently grabs her by the neck. He lifts her off her feet with one hand, relishing her powerlessness. A sharp blade suddenly pierces the brute's chest, stopping his rampage instantly. He turns in stunned betrayal to find the college student was the one who launched the attack. The hulking man collapses to the pavement, defeated as the student watches impassively. The younger sister rushes to her sibling's side, helping her recover from the brutal assault. A system notification confirms the kill, but the student learns his victim had no loot to offer. The older sister realizes he was never an accomplice, just a predator extracting information from another. The older sister demands to know how he suspected the brute, explaining she kept quiet to avoid alerting their enemies. He calmly clarifies that without proof, everyone was a suspect, and a direct accusation would have been reckless. The mere thought of cannibalism disgusts the sisters, with the younger one turning away in revulsion. With the immediate threat neutralized, the student suggests a proper introduction is in order. The older sister introduces herself as Lu Xining and her younger sibling as Lu Baiji, extending a hand in greeting. He offers a name that a small pouting girl in a comedic cutaway immediately dismisses as fake. Back in the present, he confirms that splitting the group was a deliberate strategy to expose any hidden threats. The younger sister nervously asks if any other cannibals are lurking within their larger group. He affirms her fears, declaring their next targets are the hooded youth and the fragile girl, much to the sister's confusion. The student reveals his suspicion that one of that pair is also a cannibal, forcing the older sister to ask which one. The student admits his accusation is just a guess, stating they need to confirm the truth. Suddenly, the sound of frantic footsteps echoes through the desolate alleyway. The trio turns the corner, their attention immediately drawn to the source of the commotion. They find the hooded youth and the green-haired girl running towards them, seemingly relieved to see friendly faces. The student calmly observes their arrival as the green-haired girl desperately cries out about a human-devouring monster. In a shocking twist, the two survivors immediately point fingers, each accusing the other of being the cannibal. The student steps in, demanding proof from the feuding pair to substantiate their wild accusations. The hooded youth presents a fresh wound on his arm, claiming the girl attacked and bit him. The girl vehemently refutes his story, showing her own bite mark and insisting he is the real monster. Faced with conflicting stories and matching wounds, the student declares he will have to rely on his intuition to expose the liar. The older sister places her trust in the student's judgment, though her sibling expresses doubt about the hasty decision. With the two suspects before him, the student confidently announces he has made his choice. He points his weapon at the hooded youth, siding with the seemingly innocent green-haired girl. The hooded youth panics, desperately trying to convince the student that he's being deceived by the real monster. The student dismisses the youth's plea, as the green-haired girl smugly thanks him for his support. He leans in close, whispering words of reassurance to the blushing girl, who plays along with the act. In a stunning betrayal, the student and the older sister simultaneously attack both suspects, revealing their coordinated plan. The green-haired girl stares in utter shock at the blade that has just pierced her chest. She cries out in pain and fury, realizing too late that she walked right into their trap. The older sister questions his risky plan, but he coolly states he knew she understood his true intentions all along. The older sister reflects on his cleverness, realizing he trusted her to act without a word. With piercing blue eyes, the student challenges the wounded girl to reveal her true, monstrous form. Her face contorts in pure rage as her eyes glow a menacing red, her humanity slipping away. She transforms into a hulking beast, vowing to make them suffer before devouring them. The student immediately orders a retreat, realizing this new foe is far more powerful than the last. They sprint past their shocked companions, leading the enraged monster on a desperate chase through the streets. The chase continues through the ruined city, with explosions and chaos marking their path. As they flee, the older sister questions their destination, but he calmly assures her that help is on the way. He abruptly skids to a halt, having led them to a specific location he had in mind. A confident smirk spreads across his face as he announces they've reached their destination, springing his trap. The student mocks the monster's lack of subtlety, asking if she recognizes her surroundings. A flash of realization crosses the monster's face as she understands she's been led into a trap. He signals for silence as the silhouettes of other monsters emerge from the shadows, confirming his plan. A pack of red beasts immediately swarms the transformed girl, who furiously tries to fend them off. The older sister realizes his strategy was to use other monsters as a weapon, knowing they attack the slowest target. He watches the monster brawl, stating that the beasts will now have to fight amongst themselves to determine a winner. Deciding it's time to finish the fight, he channels crackling purple energy, preparing to unleash his own power. His talent is revealed as he summons a powerful demonic entity, the Angel of Slaughter. The summoned angel surveys the chaotic battle with glee, delighted by the sight of so many potential targets. With a wide grin, the student orders his powerful summon into the fight, eager to see the chaos unfold. The Angel of Slaughter dives towards the transformed girl, who looks up in absolute terror. The monster's rage turns to fear as the summoned angel smirks, clearly relishing the hunt. With effortless grace, the angel evades the beast's wild swing, which only manages to shred its own kind. In a flash of brutal speed, the monster is completely overwhelmed and dismantled by the angel's relentless assault. The onlookers are left speechless, their minds struggling to comprehend the sheer power they just witnessed. Her primary target eliminated, the angel redirects her deadly projectiles toward the beasts swarming her master. The remaining monsters charge at the student, completely unaware they are leaping to their doom. Finding the entire battle amusing, the angel appears behind the charging beasts, ready to play with her new toys. The two beasts are instantly obliterated, their forms dissolving before they can even reach their target. He stands completely untouched as the last remnants of the monsters fade away, the battlefield now silent and clear. With a confident smirk, the student declares the fight officially over. System notifications confirm his victory, though the defeated player had no loot to inherit. The playful angel clings to him, but he feels the mental strain of maintaining such a powerful summon. Realizing the toll on his energy, he decisively dismisses his demonic entity. He explains to the shocked group that his talent is invisible to those with weak mental fortitude. The student then turns his attention to the hooded youth, noticing his wounds have vanished. The younger sister proudly reveals her C-class healing talent, capable of mending any injury almost instantly. In contrast, the older sister admits to having a low-rank manipulator talent, but her puppets are gone. She explains her talent's limitations and questions their next move, wondering if they should continue searching. He confidently takes the lead, revealing he already knows the location of the temporary station and plans to regroup. The group reflects on how a simple exploration game has devolved into a deadly battleground of betrayal. A cat-eared man thanks the student for exposing the traitors, then questions how they'll find the exit now. The student coolly announces he already has the answer, leaving the others completely stunned. He gestures to the defeated monsters and a pile of newspapers, revealing the clues he's gathered. The student explains the papers are from before the city's fall, allowing them to piece together the past. With a grim look, he offers them a choice between hearing the good news or the bad news first. The cat-eared man cautiously opts to hear the bad news, bracing himself for the worst. The student recaps what they've learned about the new monster species, highlighting their strengths and weaknesses. As the hooded youth offers his own analysis, the student cuts him off, pointing out a critical missing detail. He delivers the chilling revelation that the monsters are all human-shaped, shocking the sisters. He confirms with a chilling smirk that the monsters look human because they were once people. The group stares in horror at a fallen beast, the terrible truth of their origins sinking in. He reveals their internal organs are identical to humans, explaining why he performed a dissection earlier. The hooded youth redefines the situation not as an apocalypse, but as a terrifying evolution crisis. The student confirms their theory, stating the newspapers prove they are in a parallel world that faced a similar crisis. The newspaper clippings detail strange events, from mukbang trends to superhuman feats, hinting at this world's path to ruin. The hooded youth panics, fearing he is witnessing a preview of his own world's inevitable destruction. As the cat-eared man despairs over their future, the younger sister worries about more personal matters. He calmly advises them to see this not as a doomed fate, but as a valuable warning. The older sister looks at him intently, questioning the meaning behind his cryptic statement. He declares this dungeon is a vision of the future, and they are the key to changing its outcome. His words ignite hope in the others, who now see themselves as potential saviors destined to find the right evolutionary path. The older sister observes him, acknowledging that his arrogant confidence has a charismatic effect, successfully boosting their morale. When asked if that was the good news, the student playfully dismisses the idea with a wave of his hand. He then reveals the real good news with a sly grin, announcing he has deduced the location of the temporary station. The group is stunned by his claim, and he challenges them to solve the puzzle themselves using the clues he provided. The cat-eared man reasons that the most dangerous place would be where the most people were, listing several possibilities. Others chime in with their own theories, suggesting dark places like sewers or even a zoo. He praises the older sister for her guess, startling her and her sibling with his sudden approval. The older sister confidently narrows down the options to two likely locations, the zoo or the aquarium. The older sister reasons that the real danger lies with the dungeon boss who is guarding the exit. The hooded youth questions her reasoning, asking for the logic behind choosing the zoo or aquarium. The cat-eared man reframes the problem, stating they should focus on how humans became monsters, not just their location. He theorizes that the evolved beings mutated by consuming animals, eventually losing their sanity and form when they ran out of human prey. She connects this theory to her initial guess, identifying the zoo and aquarium as the prime locations for the boss's emergence. With a confident smirk, the student pulls out a newspaper and confirms the correct location is the aquarium. He reveals an old newspaper article detailing the first appearance of a man-eating monster at the city aquarium. The hooded youth realizes he was just testing them, but the student calmly suggests a backup plan in case his theory is wrong. The cat-eared man sighs, bracing himself for a difficult battle against the dungeon boss. The hooded youth glances at the student, silently believing no boss could be more terrifying than the power he's already witnessed. The student playfully asks the hooded youth if he's nervous about the upcoming boss fight. The youth clarifies that his real fear is the student losing control of his immense power. He confidently explains his strategy, believing they can avoid fighting the boss directly by using a clever trick. The older sister realizes his plan involves using the monster remains as bait, which he confirms is their first option. Despite the cat-eared man's urgency to leave, the student decides they will rest and tackle the aquarium the next day. The cat-eared man points out it's still early afternoon, confused by the decision to wait. The student simply states he's tired and refuses to move until the next day, challenging anyone to go alone. He privately resolves not to face the boss until his most powerful summon, the Angel of Slaughter, has recovered. The older sister wisely agrees to his plan, with her younger sibling quickly siding with her. The rest of the group unanimously decides to follow the student's lead, recognizing he is their strongest asset. The cat-eared man agrees to the plan, ready for tomorrow's departure. Night falls over the desolate, red-tinged city. Dawn breaks, painting the cityscape in warm hues. The cat-eared man, eager to leave, questions the delay. The student insists on waiting a little longer, frustrating the cat-eared man. He secretly reveals his reason for waiting. A powerful ability needs to recharge. The cat-eared man, exasperated, appeals to the others for support. The sisters decide to stick with the student's plan. The cat-eared man curses his luck, resigned to the situation. The student prepares to leave, followed by the sisters. The older sister realizes his powerful ability has a one-day cooldown, but suspects he might be bluffing to keep them off balance. Finally ready, the student stretches and instructs the group to gather the monster remains before they leave. The party arrives at their destination, standing in awe before the completely devastated aquarium. The younger sister stares in disbelief, shocked by the building's ruined state. A summoned teddy bear effortlessly carries the heavy sack of monster parts, much to the older sister's relief. The cat-eared man glares at the student, complaining that his delay has put them all at greater risk. He voices his concern about the dark interior and the inevitable confrontation with the dungeon boss. Unfazed, the student takes the lead, telling everyone to follow him inside to investigate. They cautiously proceed down a long, derelict corridor, noting how long it's been abandoned. Reaching an exhibition hall, they find old photos of tourists and staff, ghostly reminders of a time before the disaster. The older sister asks what he's found, but the student is captivated by a photo that feels oddly familiar. It's a surreal picture of a mermaid and a scuba diver posing cheerfully with a giant octopus. The younger sister reflects sadly on the aquarium's former beauty before its tragic end. Breaking the somber mood, the hooded youth enthusiastically calls them over to a newly discovered aquarium map. The student immediately deciphers the map, pinpointing the exact location of the temporary door. Spurred on by the discovery, the group immediately breaks into a run, desperate to reach the exit. They arrive at a vast abandoned performance hall with a massive pool at its center. Just as predicted, a glowing blue door labeled with the exact coordinates stands on a platform in the middle of the water. However, the cat-eared man silences their relief, revealing he can hear a massive creature, the boss, moving in the water below. He lays out their grim reality. A 20-meter swim is their only path, and their survival depends on distracting the boss with the monster bait. The plan hits a snag as the younger sister admits she can't swim, shocking the cat-eared man. The hooded youth asks the older sister if her summoned dummy can fly her sibling across the water. She explains that her ability is limited by physics, making it too slow and risky to carry someone. The cat-eared man argues against the delay, but the older sister fiercely refuses to abandon her sibling. He insists that bringing a non-swimmer is too dangerous, and they should just use the bait to escape. The student calmly interjects, stating his unwavering opinion is to take both sisters with them. He challenges the cat-eared man, questioning if he could handle the older sister's wrath if they tried to leave her sibling behind. The cat-eared man is left speechless, sweating as he realizes the grim truth in the student's words. The older sister issues an ultimatum, declaring that if her sibling can't go, no one gets out. The student approaches the sisters, who anxiously ask him what he plans to do. Without warning, the student sweeps the younger sister into his arms, leaving her completely flustered. He confidently declares he'll swim her across himself, proving that abandoning the weak is not an option. The younger sister looks up at him with pure gratitude, her faith in him completely restored. Annoyed by this sentimental display, the cat-eared man scoffs in the background. With the plan set, the hooded youth shoves the sack of monster remains into the pool to act as bait. The group watches from the edge as the gruesome bait floats on the surface, waiting for the inevitable. Bubbles begin to rise around the floating remains, signaling something is stirring in the depths below. Suddenly, massive red tentacles burst from the water, violently snatching the bait. The water churns as the creature drags its meal into the abyss, revealing its immense power. The hooded youth and his companions stare in horror, confirming their worst fears. The boss has appeared. With the monster distracted, the student seizes the moment, leaping into the pool while carrying the younger sister. The rest of the party immediately follows his lead, diving into the murky water behind him. Underwater, he calmly instructs the terrified girl to hold her breath for the perilous swim. His expression is one of pure focus as he navigates the depths, determined to reach the other side. The group swims in formation, silently cutting through the water towards the glowing exit. A sudden realization hits the student as he notices they're one person short, sensing a sinister betrayal. Back on the platform, the cat-eared man smirks, revealing he never intended to cross with them. He rips a chunk of the platform and hurls it into the water, creating a loud splash to lure the boss. The monster erupts from the depths, its tentacles ensnaring the hooded youth and his friend, as the student watches helplessly. The younger sister turns back in alarm, completely unaware of the chaos unfolding behind them. The cat-eared man smirks, explaining he'd rather strike first than be betrayed himself. The party realizes the traitor's cruel plan is to sacrifice them all for his own escape. The monster's tentacles thrash violently, tossing the captured party members through the air. Trapped and out of options, the student prepares to fight the colossal beast head-on. The boss's true form emerges from the depths, a monstrous humanoid with a gaping maw for a torso. The cat-eared man seizes the opportunity, diving into the pool to make a dash for the portal. Ensnared by a tentacle, the older sister glares with pure hatred at the fleeing traitor. Consumed by rage, she sends her summoned bear rocketing through the water to stop his escape. The student frantically yells for her to ignore the traitor and focus her attack on the real threat. At the last second, she redirects the bear, which savagely attacks the monster's eye. The summoned bear tears into the monster's eye, causing it to reel back in agony. Meanwhile, the hooded youth frantically points out that his captured friend is losing consciousness. The student calmly reassures the guilt-ridden younger sister, subtly using a healing ability on her. Still trapped, the older sister questions why the student is hesitating when the monster is clearly vulnerable. Nearing the exit, the traitor smirks, convinced his ruthless sacrifice was the correct and only path to victory. His triumph is cut short as he suddenly finds his limbs frozen, unable to move a single inch. A haunting melody fills the water, and the traitor's face pales with dawning horror as he recognizes the singer. A beautiful mermaid emerges from the depths, revealing herself to be the true, hidden boss of the stage. She serenely embraces the paralyzed traitor, her gentle demeanor masking a sinister intent. Her face horrifically unhinges into a massive fanged maw, ready to swallow the traitor whole. The summoned bear continues its savage assault, causing the first monster to crumble in agony. Still ensnared, the older sister impatiently demands to know why the student isn't seizing the opportunity to attack. He calmly tells her to hold on, his gaze fixed on a much greater threat than the one they're fighting. A trail of bubbles is all that remains of the traitor, confirming the hidden boss has dealt with him. The student's eye glows with power as he finally pinpoints the true enemy's location in the depths. He reveals his trump card, summoning a powerful demonic entity from a swirling vortex of energy. The student commands his new summon to dive into the water and hunt down the creature below. His demonic ally grins maniacally, sensing the immense power of her target and relishing the coming fight. The mermaid boss unleashes a devastating wave attack, striking the demonic summon head-on. Undeterred, the demonic summon powers up, radiating a brilliant aura as she prepares to counter the boss's assault. The demonic summon effortlessly repels the mermaid's attack, sending the hidden boss flying. As the mermaid falls unconscious, the first monster's rage intensifies, its eyes burning with fury. The enraged beast roars, its tentacles still gripping the helpless party members. A brilliant flash of light signals a devastating cross-slash attack aimed at the monster. The attack connects, tearing the monster apart and freeing its captives from its grasp. The student follows up with a decisive blow, plunging his fist deep into the monster's gaping maw. He holds his ground with grim determination as the beast's tentacles writhe in their death throes. His demonic ally gracefully evades the flying debris, moving to rejoin her master. The monster's maw erupts from within, impaled by an unseen force. With the monster defeated, the student stands victorious while his powerful summon kneels in deference. The party members float in the water, relieved that the nightmare is finally over. A system notification confirms their victory, promising an exclusive reward for the student. The student breathes a heavy sigh of relief, the weight of the battle finally lifting from his shoulders. The older sister confronts him, questioning how he knew about the hidden monster in the water. He calmly explains that his suspicion began with a photograph he recalled seeing earlier. He reveals he saw a photo of the traitor and the mermaid in old newspaper clippings about incidents at the aquarium. The student explains the newspaper had classified the first monster as a high-risk target that had devoured other creatures. He recalls his younger self theorizing about how different beings could fuse to create new monsters. This led him to theorize that a second, different monster must have been responsible for the missing humans. The older sister is stunned, realizing he not only foresaw the hidden boss, but also anticipated the traitor's every move. He clarifies he didn't force the traitor's hand, simply allowing his true nature to emerge. The student explains that in such a high-pressure environment, the traitor's own dark intentions sealed his fate. The older sister concedes his point, admitting she would have made a similar selfish choice to save her own sibling. He confidently states that despite the danger, he always knew she would survive the ordeal. She presses him, demanding to know the source of his unwavering confidence in her safety. He reveals his certainty stemmed from her incredible luck, which has saved her from impossible situations in the past. Intrigued by her supposed luck, he proposes they discuss the matter privately after they've left the dungeon. He agrees outwardly, but his inner thoughts reveal a burning curiosity about his own luck stat and whether others share his unique ability. He realizes that since entering this dangerous world, his luck has been accumulating at an accelerated rate, even during moments of rest. He concludes that the extreme difficulty of the stage was actually a blessing, allowing him to stockpile an immense amount of luck in a short time. With the ordeal over, the student decides it's time to leave, but the older sister calls out to stop him. He turns back, puzzled, to find her bowing deeply in a show of profound gratitude. She formally thanks him for saving them, using the alias he'd given earlier. The other survivors join in with their thanks, prompting him to casually reveal his real name is Fan Xiao. The older sister steams with irritation, realizing he had been deceptive about even his own name. As they walk towards the exit, the others recall his heroic past from news reports, which he humbly dismisses as habit. She silently reflects on his terrifying intellect, concluding it's a good thing he's on their side. The hooded youth cheekily asks for Fan Xiao's number, playfully claiming it's for his flustered sister. Annoyed, she drags her brother away, scolding him for using her as an excuse as they wave their goodbyes. The remaining party members look on, admitting their mix of jealousy and fear towards Fan Xiao's overwhelming competence. Fan Xiao waves goodbye, stepping through the exit portal as a system message confirms he is now an official player. The system explains the player hierarchy, classifying them as human, half-human, or human devourer. Having avoided any monstrous fusions, he's designated a pure human player and instantly transported back to his apartment. He checks his device, discovering the grueling ordeal took only 4 hours of real-world time due to the dungeon's compressed timeline. With a relieved smile, he realizes his unnatural craving for meat has completely disappeared, a sign of his internal struggle ending. His performance earns him an S-rank evaluation, showering him with a massive haul of rewards including potions, an elixir, and game currency. A special notification reveals his prize for defeating the hidden boss, a unique grade D item named the Anemic Earring. He curiously examines the reward, puzzled by the item's peculiar name as he prepares to claim his prize. The earring materializes, its lore telling a tale of a vampire's gift that bestowed immense power upon a young woman. Its description reveals a terrifying ability, the power to forge weapons from his own blood and control the blood of his enemies. He feels the power of the earring coursing through him, realizing he can now weaponize his own blood within a 50-meter radius. Without hesitation, he consumes an evolution potion from his rewards, eager to test its effects. Crushing the empty vials, he feels a surge of power, now confident he can handle any monster that comes his way. A system notification confirms his level up to E, granting him a rare chance to upgrade his unique talent. He smirks, pleased that the potions and level up boosted his evolution rate and unlocked an upgrade for his Angel of Slaughter talent. Just as he's processing his new power, his phone buzzes with a call from an unknown number. He answers, wondering if it's the older sister he just met or a new challenge from the game. The caller reveals herself to be Lu Xining, the older sister, who is called to thank him once more. On the other end of the line, a flustered Lu Xining is being prodded by her younger sister, making the call's true purpose unclear. Cutting to the chase, she reminds him of his earlier curiosity about her sister's incredible luck. Lu Xining presses him for details about her sister's supposed incredible luck. He realizes he must take this seriously, as another person with a luck-based ability could exist. She explains that since her sister's birth, their family prospered, and she's always been the sole survivor of deadly incidents. The younger sister, embarrassed, insists that Lu Xining is exaggerating the stories. He dismisses her claims as mere supposition without system proof, leaving Lu Xining confused. Fan Xiao plays it off, internally disappointed that her luck isn't a confirmed stat like his own. Changing tactics, Lu Shining probes him about his own talent, guessing it might be air manipulation. He coolly calls her bluff, refusing to talk if her only goal is to gather intel on him. She quickly pivots, proposing they team up for the next challenge by using their time train tickets simultaneously. Lu Shining grits her teeth in frustration, realizing he's too clever to trust them easily. Lu Shining reveals their matching Crazy Zoo tickets, while Fan Xiao lays out his 3 different mission passes. She's shocked he received 3 tickets, prompting them to compare their S and B rank evaluations and rewards. Seeing their shared destination, she proposes an alliance but asks for a few days to prepare some special dummies. Fan Xiao coolly agrees to the delay, ending the call after confirming their future contact. He considers her offer, realizing that teaming up with a healer and a reliable fighter is a strategically sound move. With his first mission wrapped up, he shifts his focus to upgrading his powerful Angel of Slaughter talent. The system confirms the upgrade, granting his talent the new Anger ability, which bypasses all defenses to strike any living target. He reflects on the talent's evolution, deciding its new form and power deserve a more fitting name. The next day, he sits at his desk, diligently sketching with a pen. He proudly holds up a perfect portrait, impressed by his own flawless drawing ability. Fan Xiao calmly sits in his apartment, sensing the arrival of his uninvited guests at the door. 3 official-looking figures enter, their presence filling the small space as they confront him. The lead investigator notes Fan Xiao's lack of surprise, correctly guessing he was expecting them. Fan Xiao coolly explains their visit was inevitable since the recent incident involved an evolved individual. A female agent scoffs at his claim, dismissing the existence of evolved beings as mere internet rumors. With a chilling smirk, he drops a bombshell, revealing that he himself is one of the evolved. He directly hands them the portraits of the human devourers he eliminated during his mission to become a player. The agents are stunned by the professional quality of his drawings, realizing they can be used as evidence. The man in charge introduces himself as Du Ruo from the Special Affairs Agency, handing over his credentials. Du Ruo clarifies they are a newly formed government department created to handle these supernatural cases. Du Ruo reveals their agency's purpose is to manage the evolved, players, and everything related to the evolution game. The agents confirm the human devourer from the previous night is in custody before asking Fan Xiao about his player status. Fan Xiao rolls up his sleeve to show his player ID, coolly identifying himself as a white name player. When questioned about his mission companions, he refuses to betray their identities, citing the bond they forged. Du Ruo smirks at his defiance, warning him that the Special Affairs Agency is more formidable than he thinks. The agent's tone turns serious, explaining how players will inevitably reshape the world's social and political landscape. He extends an official invitation to join the agency, highlighting the strategic advantages of state support. Fan Xiao thoughtfully considers the offer, weighing the benefits of being a lone wolf versus an agent of the state. Du Ruo slides a business card toward him, providing a direct line should he choose to accept their proposal. As they leave, the agent explains the card also grants access to a private information network, leaving Fan Xiao with a crucial decision. As the agents depart, the female operative confirms his identity with her Eye of Truth talent, though she doubts his pride will let him join. Du Ruo devises a backup plan, deciding to investigate Fan Xiao's next mission if he refuses to join them officially. With their meeting over, Du Ruo gives the order for the hidden tactical teams to withdraw from the area. It's revealed that a sniper had been positioned on an adjacent rooftop, monitoring the entire encounter. The sniper receives the command to stand down, lowering his weapon as the operation is officially cancelled. Back in his apartment, a demonic figure with wings and horns suddenly materializes before Fan Xiao. This is Fan Qi, the manifestation of his talent, who expresses her disappointment at not being unleashed on the agents. She drapes herself over him, questioning his restraint, but he calmly tells his talent that violence isn't always the answer. Fan Qi pouts, visibly annoyed that she was denied the chance to fight. Fan Xiao simply smiles and holds up his mission ticket, declaring it's time to prepare for their next challenge. He reviews the mission details, noting the strict rules against bringing firearms. Fan Qi blushes with delight, thrilled by his focused attention on their upcoming mission. Later that night, Fan Xiao relocates to a deserted city rooftop to test his new powers. He lands softly on the concrete, having just completed a short experimental flight. With Fan Qi hovering nearby, he laments that her current power only allows for a brief 10-meter flight. She proudly brandishes her scythe as he acknowledges its lethal potential for both offense and defense. Having completed his tests, he dismisses his talent, sending her away to rest. Now confident in his abilities, he decides it's time to begin the next challenge at the Fortune Hotel. The ticket ignites in his hand, transforming as a system notification announces the train's imminent arrival. Arriving at a temporary station, he realizes this mission's entry point is far more public than the last. He's taken aback to find Du-ruo from the Special Affairs Agency, waiting on the same platform. Du-ruo greets him with a friendly smile, claiming he was simply curious to experience a mission firsthand. Fan Xiao remains unconvinced, his expression hardening as he doubts their meeting is a mere coincidence. He learns that this is Du-ruo's third mission, a fact that does little to ease his suspicion. Probing further, Fan Xiao questions the odds of them being assigned to the same challenge. The agent dismisses the possibility, explaining the station connects to numerous different challenges, making a shared destination unlikely. Shifting topics, Fan Xiao inquires about the agency's ticket exchange, which Du-ruo reveals is a high-risk venture for outsiders. When asked about the agency's numbers, Du-ruo dangles the information as a reward for joining, but Fan Xiao remains non-committal. An official announcement breaks the tension, revealing their shared destination is the ominous-sounding Fairy Tale City. As the train arrives, the system outlines the rules of travel, emphasizing that wealthy players receive preferential treatment. Du-ruo reveals his destination is also the Fortune Hotel, feigning surprise at the coincidence. Fan Xiao sees through the act, certain the agency is monitoring him but resolves to proceed as planned. They board the train, finding themselves in a car filled with other players heading to their missions. Du-ruo cautions that since combat isn't forbidden, they must watch out for hostile players. An attendant approaches Fan Xiao, offering him a menu for the journey. After seeing the steep prices, Fan Xiao accepts Du-ruo's offer to buy him a coffee, recognizing it as a veteran's gesture. He takes a moment to savor the surprisingly high-quality coffee. Examining the cup, he realizes it's a branded product from another dimension, not just a simple game asset. Du-ruo explains this transit area is a real place, not a loading screen sparking Fan Xiao's curiosity. Looking out the window at the vastness of space, Du-ruo theorizes they are in a rift where different realities meet. Du-ruo reveals the train's passengers could come from entirely different worlds, stunning Fan Xiao. He remembers tipping an attendant for intel, specifically about the station's complex numbering system. The agent deciphers the code, explaining G08 is the node, 010 is their world, and A1 is the station. As Fan Xiao contemplates the existence of parallel worlds, an urgent system notification interrupts his thoughts. The announcement echoes through the sparsely populated train car as they continue their journey. A bounty is announced for a notorious superplayer from the assassin group, Tribunal de la Vida. Fan Xiao realizes this bounty means the game company lacks absolute control over its players, a promising weakness. When questioned about S-level players, Du-ruo feigns ignorance, claiming such powerful individuals are out of their league. The train's arrival at Rose Street Station is announced, signaling the end of their brief transit. Stepping onto the platform, Fan Xiao wonders about the consequences of defying the system, a question even Du-ruo can't answer. Du-ruo offers a final piece of advice, cautioning that breaking the rules comes with a steep, often unbearable price. With their conversation over, both players dissolve into particles of light, teleporting away from the station. They rematerialize in front of their destination, the ancient and foreboding Fortune Hotel looming under a starry sky. A system window confirms their arrival, officially initiating the Fortune Hotel mission as a figure lands on a rooftop. The mission's backstory unfolds, detailing a mysterious, foul stench that plagued the hotel's guests. It's revealed the smell came from a body hidden inside a mattress, exposing a grim murder case. Even after the body's removal, a new terror began, with guests reporting phantom footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Those brave enough to investigate glimpsed a woman in red before vanishing, as the horrible stench returned with a vengeance. The missing guests were later found in other mattresses, sparking rumors of a vengeful spirit repeating her tragic fate. Fan Xiao reviews the simple but deadly rules for survival, dismissing the entire setup as a tired horror movie cliché. The other players begin to gather, walking towards the ominous hotel entrance. Fan Xiao observes the diverse group of participants, each one a potential ally or threat. Du-ruo calmly assesses the crowd, noting that all the players for this challenge have arrived. A sharp-dressed woman confirms their numbers, announcing a total of 12 players for the mission. Just as a cheerful player suggests they head inside, a panicked voice suddenly halts their advance. A terrified woman loudly voices her paranoia, fearing that cannibal players might be hiding among them. She creates a standoff, refusing to enter the hotel until everyone proves they aren't a hidden monster. Pointing an accusatory finger, she doubles down on her demand, creating an immediate rift in the group. A blonde man scoffs at her paranoia, telling his companion to ignore her baseless accusations. Enraged by his dismissal, the woman fires back, claiming his aggressive attitude proves he's one of the monsters. The woman tries to rally the other players, a motley crew of veterans and newcomers, against the two men she has accused. She then turns on Fan Xiao, accusing him of being a monster for his refusal to join her witch hunt. Fan Xiao dismisses her, explaining that fighting powerful cannibal players is a fool's errand with no volunteers. He smirks, challenging anyone to try and take him on, even if he were a monster. The woman takes his taunt as a confession, but the other players are more concerned with the hotel's ghosts than her paranoia. Deciding he's had enough of the drama, Fan Xiao heads toward the hotel, with Du Ruo trailing close behind. Du Ruo catches up, questioning Fan Xiao's choice to antagonize the group and draw suspicion. Fan Xiao explains it's a calculated move to project strength, intimidating potential enemies and unseen threats. He reveals the woman's true goal is to create chaos, forcing others to reveal their powers while she stays safe. Leaving the squabbling behind, the group finally steps into the vast, silent lobby of the Fortune Hotel. Inside, a player notes the hotel has just enough floors for each of them, sparking a debate on how to divide the rooms. A bald man attempts to flirt with the well-dressed woman, who confidently claims the 7th floor for good luck. Seeing an opportunity, another player proposes an alliance with the woman, suggesting they watch each other's backs. The group immediately devolves into squabbling over the most strategic floors, with the 2nd floor being a prime target for a quick escape. Fan Xiao cuts through the noise, proposing they search for clues first, while Du Ruo suggests splitting up to cover more ground. The aggressive blonde man immediately challenges Fan Xiao's plan, calling him crazy for suggesting they separate. Fan Xiao responds with a chilling smile, daring the man to join him, which instantly terrifies his challenger. The blonde man hastily retreats, realizing he's provoked someone far more dangerous than he anticipated. The well-dressed woman restores order, urging the group to search for clues before 9 p.m., and the others finally agree to split up. An agreement finally reached, the players ascend the grand staircase, beginning their separate investigations of the haunted hotel. Du Ruo questions the reality of the hotel's spirits, but Fan Xiao remains pragmatic, considering all possibilities. Fan Xiao boldly claims the notoriously unlucky 13th floor for himself, splitting up with Du Ruo to investigate. As Du Ruo departs, Fan Xiao internally notes his suspicion, believing the man is an agent sent to monitor him. Entering his assigned room, Fan Xiao finds it long abandoned, realizing that obvious clues will be scarce. Deciding to be proactive, he summons a special item, the blood earring, a reward from a previous mission. He activates the earring's power, channeling its energy through his hand and onto the room's curtain. With a firm grip, he imbues the fabric with what appears to be fresh bloodstains, altering its appearance. Smirking at his handiwork, he marvels at the earring's ability to manipulate blood, perfectly faking evidence for his plan. The players reconvene in the lobby, sharing findings of recent activity and confirming they aren't the first ones here. The sharp-dressed woman adds that she found signs of a battle, leading Du Ruo to conclude they're following in the footsteps of previous players. The blonde man reports their findings are all the same, but another player senses someone is missing. Fan Xiao interrupts, descending the stairs to announce he's found something different. He reveals the curtain, now marked with a chilling, bloody warning of death. The horrified players immediately assume it's a message left by a previous doomed team. The sharp-dressed woman connects the warning to the female ghost, deducing her deadly attack method. Another player fears the worst, as the message hints that even the last survivor of the previous group met a grim end. Fan Xiao calmly clarifies that the spirit seems to mark its targets by knocking, meaning not everyone is in immediate danger. This leads to the terrifying realization that survival is a game of chance, infuriating those who hate relying on luck. The bald man proposes they ditch the random room assignments and face the threat together as a single unit. His suggestion is met with immediate approval, as the group agrees their combined strength might be enough to survive. A player counters the group plan, warning that breaking the one guest per floor rule will make them the spirit's first target. Fan Xiao steps forward, derisively dismissing their desperate attempt to use others as shields. He sarcastically compliments their self-serving strategy, his expression dripping with contempt. The woman who proposed the idea angrily demands he explain his cryptic remark. Fan Xiao lays out the grim reality. Grouping up ensures everyone gets attacked, while separating offers a chance for some to survive. He adds that evidence of a past struggle suggests the spirit can be fought, making individual survival plausible. Decisively, Fan Xiao announces he'll face the night alone, prompting the bald man to follow suit and trust his own luck. The well-dressed woman agrees, concluding that sticking to the rules is their most logical path to survival. Fan Xiao urges everyone to return to their rooms, making it clear that any alliances from this point on are a personal risk. The paranoid woman again accuses Fan Xiao of being a monster, but the bald man shuts her down, refusing to be part of her fatal plan. Fan Xiao internally smirks, knowing the game's rules would have punished anyone foolish enough to break them. He reveals his true confidence, carrying a powerful spirit of his own that makes the hotel's ghost seem trivial. Meanwhile, the well-dressed woman forms a quick alliance with Du Ruo, agreeing to help each other since their floors are adjacent. Another player quickly joins their pact, suggesting they also watch each other's backs on their consecutive floors. A third player eagerly joins the group, choosing a nearby floor to be part of their mutual protection plan. The new alliance solidifies, believing that cooperation is their best chance for survival. Watching from a distance, Fan Xiao mentally dismisses the newly formed group as mostly harmless. He then turns his attention to the silent, more mysterious players, identifying them as the ones to watch carefully. His focus sharpens on one individual in particular, his suspicion growing more intense. As they ride the elevator, Fan Xiao questions why Du Ruo is accompanying him all the way to the 13th floor instead of his own. Du Ruo casually explains he wants to talk, inviting himself into Fan Xiao's room for a while. They arrive at Fan Xiao's assigned room on the 13th floor, number 1308. Inside, Du Ruo makes himself comfortable, suggesting they chat before the 9 p.m. deadline arrives. Fan Xiao sarcastically calls out Du Ruo's poor manners for entering and sitting on his bed without permission. Du Ruo gets straight to the point, asking if Fan Xiao's earlier comments about a cannibal player were a deliberate trap. Fan Xiao admits he was merely fishing for a reaction, though he didn't necessarily expect anyone to take the bait. He then shares his suspicions, identifying the kid-faced player, the tattooed man, and the bald man as potential threats. Fan Xiao reasons that the others are too expressive, while the quiet ones are the most likely to be hiding something sinister. Du Ruo dismisses the theory, revealing he came to discuss a more important matter. He then looks Fan Xiao dead in the eye, directly asking if he faked the blood on the curtain. Fan Xiao counters, asking if Du Ruo is secretly the evil spirit, pointing out the danger he'd be in if that were true. He quickly dismisses the tension with a laugh, claiming he trusts Du Ruo as an official who wouldn't harm innocents. Internally, however, Fan Xiao calculates he could eliminate Du Ruo instantly if needed, revealing his friendly demeanor as a facade. Du Ruo remains unfazed, finding the theory amusing and confidently denying he's the spirit, challenging Fan Xiao to prove otherwise. Fan Xiao concedes the point and openly admits the bloody curtain was a deliberate trap to expose a hidden enemy. He explains he invented new rules for the ghost, knocking before an attack, to layer on top of the game's original lore. A simple diagram illustrates the difference between the game's actual mechanics and the deadly new rules Fan Xiao fabricated. He reveals his strategy. A real ghost would ignore his trap, but a player posing as the ghost would try to kill him first. Du Ruo observes Fan Xiao's confidence, who admits his entire plan is useless if the hotel's spirit is actually real. In response, Du Ruo pulls out a peculiar item, a paper cup phone he calls an evolved glasses phone. Du Ruo explains his device allows them to communicate, a clever substitute for forbidden walkie-talkies. He offers to be Fan Xiao's backup, ready to rush in from the floor below if the trap succeeds. Fan Xiao questions Du Ruo's conviction, asking why he's so sure the ghost isn't real. Du Ruo reasons that a genuine spirit is highly unlikely to appear in a low-level E-rank mission. With their alliance formed, Du Ruo wishes Fan Xiao success in his dangerous gambit. Fan Xiao smiles with unwavering confidence, ready for the night to begin. As the clock hits 10 p.m., an eerie silence falls over the deserted hotel corridor. Elsewhere, the paranoid woman cowers in her room, trying to convince herself she won't be the unlucky target. Her worst fears are realized as a terrifying knock echoes through her room, signaling the spirit's arrival. She desperately holds the door, believing her only chance of survival is to keep the entity from entering. Her eyes widen in pure horror as she realizes the knocking wasn't at the door. A ghastly spirit with glowing red eyes descends from the ceiling, its face inches from hers. A blood-curdling scream echoes through the room as the entity lunges at its terrified victim. Meanwhile, the well-dressed woman is startled by a knock on her own door. She remains composed, her sharp gaze fixed on the entrance, ready for a confrontation. The next morning, the sun rises over the seemingly peaceful, auspicious hotel. Duruo casually reports a quiet night, yawning as if he hadn't a care in the world. He speculates the ghost is real, but Fan Xiao reminds him that their survival doesn't guarantee everyone else's. The two head to the elevator, determined to discover the fate of the other guests. Arriving in the lobby, they find a few survivors already gathered, looking just as curious. The kid-faced player approaches them, asking if anyone else is missing from the group. Another player notes the absence of the three-person alliance that had formed the previous day. The well-dressed woman expresses her concern, speculating that the missing players met a terrible fate. Suddenly, the bald man bursts in, frantically declaring that he had his own near-death experience last night. He furiously confronts his allies, demanding to know why they ignored his signal for help when the spirit attacked. The woman and the kid-faced player both reveal that they also received a knock on their doors. The bald man dismisses their claims as lies, yelling that their so-called alliance is worse than having no help at all. The woman calmly clarifies that her door was knocked on first, and she hesitated to respond to his later signal, suspecting a trap. He rejects her explanation as a cowardly excuse, insisting she should have come to his aid no matter the risk. The kid-faced player turns the accusation back on the bald man, calling him a coward for wasting a support call over a mere knock. Fan Xiao calmly interjects, confirming that everyone experienced the spirit's knock last night. The players connect the knocking to the bloody curtain's warning, believing the spirit's existence is now proven. Gaining everyone's attention, Fan Xiao prepares to make a startling confession. He smirks, proudly announcing that the entire bloody curtain clue was a fabrication he created. The other survivors are left speechless, their faces a mixture of shock and disbelief. The group recoils, demanding to know the purpose behind his reckless and manipulative plan. Fan Xiao reveals his trap was designed to test one simple thing: the authenticity of the hotel's ghost. He declares his experiment a success, concluding there is no actual spirit since it followed his fake rules. With the ghost theory debunked, he points out that only one terrifying possibility remains. He reveals the true threat. A player among them is secretly an imposter, tasked with hunting them all down. The players erupt into a frenzy of denial, each insisting they couldn't be the imposter since they also heard the knock. The kid-faced player turns on Fan Xiao, accusing him of being the killer for orchestrating the entire chaotic situation. Fan Xiao coolly dismantles the accusation, pointing out the flaw in his logic and leaving his accuser speechless. Duruo lightens the mood, pushing Fan Xiao forward and declaring that while everyone is a suspect, their enemy is confirmed to be human. He continues his explanation, comparing their deadly game to a familiar round of Mafia, but with a unique twist. Fan Xiao clarifies that unlike a supernatural entity, a human opponent is far less intimidating once their nature is known. The other players quickly agree, their fear turning to confidence now that they believe they're facing a mortal foe. Fan Xiao suggests checking on the missing players, but the bald man dismisses the idea, certain they're already dead. With a sinister grin, Fan Xiao reminds them of the killer's gruesome habit, asking if they fancy sleeping on a hidden body. His chilling words send a wave of horror and disgust through the remaining survivors. Fan Xiao dangles more clues, telling a frustrated Duruo he'll only reveal them after they find the bodies. The other survivors reluctantly agree to search, unnerved by the thought of sharing a room with a hidden victim. With his ultimatum delivered, Fan Xiao confidently walks away, leaving the others to follow his lead. Duruo watches him leave, intrigued and wondering about the true depth of the young man's scheme. During the search, a sudden thump from the floor above alerts one of the players to a potential disturbance. Fan Xiao grows weary after searching numerous rooms, just as a strange rocking sound draws his attention. His focus instantly sharpens as he turns toward the source of the noise, his expression intense. He confronts Duruo, who has just used a mysterious, glowing item on a nearby door handle. Duruo grins smugly, clearly proud of the secret gadget he's just revealed. He explains his E-rank item is a special handle that completely soundproofs any room it's attached to. Fan Xiao confronts the bald man, deducing he's the imposter who eliminated the other three players. The killer confesses to one murder, revealing the other two were eliminated by the game for breaking the rules. Fan Xiao calmly questions why the killer didn't target him during the previous night's attack. The man explains an item calculated his win probability, and Fan Xiao was too risky a target at only 52%. With a confident smirk, Fan Xiao challenges the killer's decision to attack now and asks how he'll hide his identity. The killer reveals Fan Xiao's cleverness forced his hand, and with new items, his win rate has jumped to 68%. He clenches his fist, declaring he only needs 2 more victims to complete his mission. Fan Xiao mockingly points out the killer's mistake of revealing his entire plan just to gloat. Suddenly, a strange purple energy surrounds Fan Xiao, catching him completely off guard. The killer smirks from the doorway, revealing he's been stalling for time as his poison mist takes effect. Fan Xiao taunts the killer through the purple haze, calling him cowardly for using poison with a 68% win rate. The killer dons a sinister, red-eyed mask, preparing to finish off his supposedly weakened victim. An item called the Spirit Suit transforms him into a ghostly entity, granting him immense power and a terrifying new form. The spirit-like assassin charges at Fan Xiao, who stands his ground without a hint of fear. His attack mysteriously stops just short of its target, leaving his claws hovering near Fan Xiao's neck. The transformed killer is suddenly overcome with nausea, his confident assault coming to a sickening halt. His body convulses as he becomes violently ill, the spirit form faltering under an unknown affliction. The killer collapses, his transformation reversed, unable to comprehend how he lost with such a high win rate. A new player, a horned woman named Seal, appears over the body as a notification declares the Ant King has been eliminated. Fan Xiao then reveals a bottle labeled Antidote, showing he was never in any real danger. A system notification declares Seal will inherit an item from the fallen Ant King. Fan Xiao watches as she receives the arrogant door handle, confirming his theory about unreliable items. After Seal complains about the killer's durable clothes, Fan Xiao removes the spirit mask from the body. He then warns her not to cause too much damage, revealing he still has a use for the corpse. Observing Seal's childish excitement, he decides to let her finish before contacting the others. Fan Xiao then activates his anemic earring, summoning a swirling red energy around his hand. This powerful item allows him to connect with and control a target's blood for up to an hour. He also reveals a blood hand crossbow, which can establish the same connection by striking a target. With the crossbow aimed, he contemplates the ability to make a victim's blood flow in reverse. His gaze turns sinister as he considers an even more lethal possibility, causing his target to detonate from within. Du Rua bursts into the room, shocked by the chaotic scene that greets him. He expresses his surprise at being threatened with a crossbow upon arrival, noticing the defeated killer on the floor. He inspects the fallen killer's unusual form, deducing from the damage that a brutal fight had just concluded. As Fan Xiao lowers the crossbow, Du Rua revises his opinion, acknowledging the young man's power is beyond his imagination. The kid-faced player finds Fan Xiao's calm demeanor unsettling and plans to update his official assessment of him. He points to the body, noting a critical inconsistency between the defeated foe and the mission's description of the spirit. Fan Xiao reveals the red-eyed mask, identifying it as the transformation item and regretting that it can't be looted for profit. Du Rua inspects the body for subhuman traits, while his companion speculates the killer's diet might be less conspicuous. Fan Xiao interrupts their speculation to reveal a bigger problem. A system alert shows the game isn't over yet. This leads Du Rua to a chilling conclusion. Their mission was a lie, and the true objective remains dangerously unknown. Fan Xiao decides to move the body to the lobby and explain his theory to the other survivors. The scene transitions to the Grand Hotel lobby, setting the stage for the group's debriefing. The survivors gather uneasily around the killer's body, murmuring amongst themselves. Fan Xiao calmly recounts how he tricked the spirit player and managed to counter his attack. A female survivor confirms they located the other 3 bodies, but the scene was too grim to disturb. The players express their relief, thanking Fan Xiao for ensuring they can finally rest safely at night. The cat-eared player interrupts, questioning what would have happened if the killer hadn't followed Fan Xiao's script. Fan Xiao explains that if the killer hadn't acted, everyone would have doubted the fake rules and passed the game without incident. He elaborates that an attack would have only united the survivors, making the killer's mission much more difficult. The others challenge his logic, proposing that a real spirit might exist, and that gathering together could be a fatal mistake. Fan Xiao smirks, completely unfazed by their doubts about his strategy. He calmly outlines his contingency plan: revert to 1 person per floor to minimize casualties if a real threat emerged. He then clarifies with a cunning smile that he never intended to break the rules by staying with them anyway. One player erupts in anger, blaming Fan Xiao's deception for the deaths and accusing him of setting everyone up. The accuser's angry outburst dissolves into a nervous laugh as he faces Fan Xiao's unnerving composure. Fan Xiao coldly states that he doesn't need their trust, as he has already dealt with the threat and won't trust them in return. Suddenly, a bald player speaks up, clearing his throat and declaring his belief in Fan Xiao. With a greedy look, he quickly pivots the conversation to dividing the loot from their defeated foe. The scene reveals the man who just accused Fan Xiao now lies motionless on the floor as the bald man makes his proposal. Fan Xiao playfully holds up a new smiling white mask, asking if this is the prize they're so eager to claim. Fan Xiao mocks the bald man's greed, suggesting he needs a mask to hide his shameless face. The bald man retaliates, attempting to turn the other survivors against Fan Xiao by painting him as the new villain. Another player steps in to mediate, urging everyone to remain calm and not jump to conclusions. He then proposes that the powerful mask be given to a trustworthy person for safekeeping, subtly nominating himself. The bald man enthusiastically agrees, seeing a chance to disarm the one player he fears. Fan Xiao nonchalantly tosses the mask to the schemer, sarcastically agreeing he is a suitable choice. A system notification immediately reveals the item is instance exclusive, making it useless to its new holder. The bald man erupts in fury at the deception, while Fan Xiao admits he found their squabbling highly entertaining. Realizing he's been outplayed, the man shifts his focus, declaring the threat of the spirit is gone but a new one remains. He points an accusing finger, branding Fan Xiao as the true monster who will hunt them in the coming nights. The schemer proposes they unite to eliminate the real monsters, turning the group's focus to a new internal threat. Fan Xiao's expression turns cold, revealing he was merely waiting for the true villains to expose themselves. The bald man retreats in terror, accusing the mediator of revealing his sinister intentions now that he's been cornered. His sentence is cut short as a black spike impales him through the chest, ending his desperate plea. The mediator stands over his victim, revealing his 100-change magic clothes and announcing the end of his charade. With a menacing grin, he declares that with the spirit gone, it's time for his team to show their true colors. He then rallies his two accomplices, ordering them to help eliminate the remaining players for a gruesome feast. Fan Xiao watches this sudden betrayal with a look of mild surprise, as if this was an unexpected but welcome development. The woman and her companion confirm the horrifying truth. A trio of predators has been hiding among them all along. Durua asks if Fan Xiao knew about the alliance, but he clarifies he only confirmed the mediator's identity the previous night. The mediator confidently calculates their odds, believing a 3-on-4 fight is a guaranteed victory. His tattooed accomplice grins with predatory hunger, eager to begin his gruesome meal. He lunges toward his terrified targets, initiating the brutal hunt. Fan Xiao calmly steps forward, announcing he's canceling their deadly dinner plans. The sudden interruption leaves the attackers and their intended victims completely baffled. Durua demands an explanation, confused by Fan Xiao's unexpected change of tune. With a smirk, Fan Xiao reveals his player ID, identifying himself as a non-hostile white name player. The predatory trio erupts in fury, realizing Fan Xiao's entire persona was a calculated deception. As others question his allegiance, Duru's companion vouches for him, confirming his actions were all part of a strategy. The cat-eared player grins wickedly, flexing his claws and declaring his newfound trust in Fan Xiao. Duru cracks her whip, declaring that talk can wait until after they've dealt with the predators. Enraged by the deception, the mediator lunges forward, determined to make Fan Xiao pay. Fan Xiao coolly aims a miniature crossbow, halting the attacker's charge mid-stride. The mediator channels crackling energy into his spear, preparing to overwhelm the tiny projectile. He effortlessly swats the bolt aside, which clinks harmlessly onto the marble floor. Gathering immense power, the attacker prepares to unleash a final, decisive strike. But Durua intervenes, unleashing her queen's domain with a powerful swing of her whip. The mediator is violently thrown backward, his attack completely nullified by her sudden move. She smiles confidently, her whip glowing with an intimidating purple aura. Her opponent stares in absolute horror as the energized whip descends upon him. The whip lashes across the mediator's body, its powerful impact sending him reeling. Duru relentlessly attacks, her whip a blur of motion as she dominates her opponent. Fan Xiao observes with a knowing smile, impressed by the high rank of Duru's weapon. Meanwhile, the other two predators are met with a powerful fist-to-fist collision. The tattooed accomplice glares with rage as the cat-eared player confidently squares up against him. In a shocking twist, the third predator accomplice is attacked by his own supposed teammate. The man in the suit reveals his true allegiance, standing with the cat-eared player against the remaining predators. The tattooed man realizes his fatal miscalculation. The odds have turned drastically against him. Fan Xiao watches with satisfaction as his allies easily handle the remaining threats. Elsewhere, a wounded survivor pleads for help, but Fan Xiao simply looks down on him with cold indifference. Fan Xiao smirks, coldly informing the wounded man that his fate is already sealed. He then produces a dagger, explaining it's better to secure the man's items than let the enemy inherit them. The helpless survivor begs for his life, realizing Fan Xiao's merciless intentions. After the deed is done, Fan Xiao stands over the body, ironically vowing to avenge him. Durua confronts him in disbelief, but he calmly justifies his actions as a necessary evil for the group's survival. She is left stunned and horrified by his cold, calculating pragmatism. Meanwhile, the tattooed predator sits defeated on the floor, having been completely overpowered. The man in the suit mocks his opponent's weakness, offering a chance to surrender and live. The tattooed man's eyes burn with fury, utterly humiliated by the proposition. Rejecting the offer, he unleashes a monstrous transformation, preparing for one last, desperate stand. The transformed predator lunges at the man in the suit, targeting him first in his rage. The man in the suit activates a pair of enchanted shoes, making a swift escape from the monster's charge. With a sinister grin, the monster prepares to launch his weapon, undeterred by his target's speed. He hurls his weapon with incredible force, striking the fleeing man and stopping him in his tracks. The monster mocks the quality of his victim's escape item, smugly claiming it as his own. Fan Xiao calmly observes the fight, identifying the perfect moment to strike now that the monster is disarmed. He channels a strange red energy, forming 3 glowing projectiles aimed at the distracted foe. The energy arrows fly true, embedding themselves in the monster's back with a flash of red light. Stunned by the unexpected attack from behind, the monster whirls around in confusion. He touches the impact point, noticing the attack caused no pain but left a mysterious, glowing mark on his chest. The monster clutches his chest, confused and panicked by the strange, painless energy coursing through him. He turns to see Fan Xiao standing casually nearby, a knowing smile on his face. His eyes widen in furious realization, identifying Fan Xiao as the source of the mysterious attack. Fan Xiao simply smirks, enjoying the monster's dawning horror as his plan comes to fruition. The monster suddenly erupts in a flash of light, his inherited item being sealed and claimed by Fan Xiao. The sudden defeat of the monster shocks the injured man in the suit, who turns to stare at the commotion. He is caught completely off guard as his cat-eared ally appears behind him, criticizing his distraction. The cat-eared player then betrays his supposed teammate, delivering a decisive blow from behind. The once chaotic hall falls silent, with the remaining players now standing over their 2 fallen opponents. In a desperate last act, the betrayed man grabs Fan Xiao's leg, begging to be saved. Fan Xiao coldly informs the pleading man that his fate is sealed and death is imminent. He mockingly claims his actions are humanitarian, as he won't be the one to deliver the final blow. The cat-eared woman scoffs at his twisted logic as the betrayed man finally succumbs to his injuries. She then compliments Fan Xiao, judging his ruthless pragmatism as superior to the fallen man's treachery. Her words strike the dying man like a final blow, condemning him for his parasitic behavior. The cat-eared player expresses her admiration for Fan Xiao's strategic mind and courage. Fan Xiao returns the compliment with a knowing smirk, acknowledging her unique nature. With the immediate threats gone, the remaining 4 players reflect on their surprisingly swift victory. The cat-eared woman analyzes the dungeon's complex rules, explaining how Fan Xiao's plan forced the predator's hands. Her ally praises Fan Xiao's brilliant strategy, and Fan Xiao humbly accepts the credit for their success. The cat-eared woman formally introduces herself as Yan Kenning, a self-proclaimed businesswoman. Her allies follow suit, revealing their names to be Shu Yao and Du Ruo. Fan Xiao cheekily gives a fake name, earning him irritated looks from the others. Yan Kenning playfully chides him, suggesting such stinginess could lead to missed opportunities. He casually corrects himself, revealing his real name as Fan Xiao from Sector 010. Surprisingly, both Yan Kenning and Du Ruo announce they are also from Sector 010, calling it a fated meeting. Shu Yao calmly clarifies that such encounters are statistically common for players from the same sector. He then pivots the conversation, asking if they are familiar with the Special Affairs Bureau. Shu Yao explains it's a new government agency created to manage player incidents and provide support. He extends a recruitment offer, presenting a card with the Bureau's contact information for after the dungeon. Yan Kenning accepts the card, suggesting they stay in touch for future dungeons. Fan Xiao wonders if their work is done, but Xu Yao explains the main threat is permanently neutralized. He concludes they only need to survive for 2 more days to complete the instance. 2 days pass and the survivors find themselves back at the time-space train station. A system notification confirms the successful completion of the auspicious hotel dungeon. The system reveals the dungeon evaluations, with Fan Xiao earning an impressive A rank and Zhu Yao a B rank. Yan Kening and her ally receive C ranks, prompting a silent, amusing thought about their animal-themed codenames. With evaluations complete, the system begins distributing the well-earned dungeon rewards to the players. Fan Yao receives a special reward, a D-rank item named Antidote Master, granting immunity to low-rank poisons. He immediately equips the earring, which permanently grants him passive poison immunity, a far superior type of buff. A system notification reveals Fan Xiao has too many items, forcing him to discard one due to a 3-item limit for E-rank players. He offers his excess item to the group, but Zhu Yao mocks him, already aware of the inventory restriction. With a polite wave, Xu Yao declines the offer, explaining that a doorknob doesn't fit his personal style. The others also refuse, deeming the doorknob too impractical to occupy a precious item slot. Left with no other choice, he opts to recycle the unwanted item through the system menu. He receives a mere 10,000 game coins for the E-rank item, a disappointingly low sum. Wasting no time, Fan Xiao consumes an evolution potion, feeling its power surge through him. His status screen updates, revealing his evolution rate has climbed to 27%. As a train rushes past, he notes the potion's effect was weaker this time, pondering if he's building a resistance. Resigned, he decides to investigate the potion's limits in the next dungeon, patiently awaiting his departure. Back on the train, Fan Xiao notices a time discrepancy, realizing dungeon time isn't synced with the real world. He then sees 3 missed calls from Lu Baiji, smiling at her concern for him. He messages his group chat, where an ally immediately questions if the Special Affairs Bureau has compromised them. His ally reveals both she and Baiji were contacted, but Fan Xiao coolly states he never intended to stay hidden. Lu Baiji sighs in relief, glad that her actions didn't inadvertently cause him trouble. His other ally, mid-workout, confirms with him that he just exited an instance dungeon. Lu Baiji offers to buy his dungeon intel, but he generously offers it for free since they'll be teaming up soon. He promptly sends them a file archive, giving them a full debrief of his recent harrowing experience. His ally is horrified by the intel, shocked that such cruel player-versus-player dungeons even exist. Lu Baiji, however, is impressed by his daring strategy, questioning his fearlessness in provoking powerful enemies. Fan Xiao explains his confidence was the key to luring out and eliminating his enemies. Changing the subject, he casually asks what his teammates are currently up to. His ally reveals she's training hard, believing physical conditioning is vital to unlock an evolver's full potential. Meanwhile, Lu Baiji is shown doing her sister's homework, prompting Fan Xiao to question the academic consequences. Lu Baiji dismisses his concern, explaining her sister's academic foundation is solid and her incredible luck covers any gaps. Fan Xiao reflects on her sister's phenomenal luck, deciding to keep his own luck-based strategies a secret. He tells them he has personal matters to attend to, and they all agree to coordinate for their next dungeon run. The scene then transitions to Fan Xiao visiting a local hot pot restaurant. While eating, he has a clumsy moment, getting spice in his eye and coughing from the heat. Despite the messy meal, a system window reveals his luck value has increased to 120. At the restaurant counter, the cashier irritably informs him he's forfeited his deposit due to excessive leftovers. His attempt to pay digitally fails with a network error, earning him a suspicious glare from the cashier. Frustrated, the cashier demands he pay with cash, adding another layer to his string of bad luck. Outside, he reflects that after 7 days of accumulating luck, the negative side effects are becoming undeniable. He resolves to be more vigilant, anticipating that his bad luck could soon attract man-made trouble. Just then, his phone rings, and he answers a call from his mother. She questions his long absence, making him invent an excuse about difficult clients at work. His mother offers to arrange a better job through his uncle, clearly worried about his current situation. He firmly but gently turns down her offer, insisting he enjoys the work he does. He silently recalls sacrificing a month's worth of luck for his mother's happy marriage, content that his power brought her peace. He walks away valuing his independence over a life controlled by his family. He knows this solitude also protects his loved ones from the collateral damage of his accumulating luck. His mother, however, mistakes his strange life for a mental illness and insists he see a new psychologist. Overwhelmed by her concern, Fan Xiao ends the call while walking through the city. He reluctantly agrees to go to the appointment, but decides to clean his stained clothes first. His errand takes him to a nearby commercial center to find a solution. In the restroom, he recalls a traumatic fall at age 13 that changed everything. The accident left him with a strange, hazy memory of a kind older sister he never had. He remembers undergoing numerous hospital tests, all of which came back completely normal. Since doctors found no physical cause, a younger Fan Xiao concluded the issue must be psychological. This led to years of therapy and medication, as his family sought a conventional cure for his condition. By age 14, he realized he could consciously control the flow of both good and bad luck. He understood then that he wasn't cursed with misfortune, but blessed with a unique superpower. He used his power to confirm the memory of the mysterious sister was real, though he couldn't locate her. Now he suspects his memory was tampered with by other players who arrived on Earth long ago. This revelation solidifies his resolve to continue the evolution game, both for survival and to reclaim his past. He arrives at the psychologist's clinic, deciding to face the appointment to placate his mother and confront his impending bad luck. The psychologist greets him warmly, offering tea and assuring him there's no pressure. Dr. Chen dismisses his condition as a simple psychological illness, comparing it to a common cold that can be treated over time. The doctor theorizes that the sister is a fabrication, a coping mechanism for a lack of parental attention during his childhood. Fan Xiao remains stone-faced, unimpressed by the doctor's simplistic diagnosis. He calmly recalls how attentive the mysterious sister was, contradicting the doctor's theory in his mind. The psychologist passionately claims the sister is a fantasy created to compensate for his parents' flaws. He insists the cure lies in cognitively accepting reality and letting go of the past. Fan Xiao feigns agreement, while the doctor explains the treatment will also involve medication and guided sessions. The doctor then offers him a cup of tea, suggesting they begin the first guidance session. Just as he's about to drink, his eyes widen in alarm as a system notification pops up. A system alert confirms his suspicion. The tea is drugged, but his antidote master skill has already neutralized it. Unfazed and immune to poison, Fan Xiao decides to drink the tea anyway to identify the substance. He immediately identifies the substance as truth serum, wondering why this supposedly normal doctor would possess such a thing. Fan Xiao confirms this is the man-made disaster he predicted, deciding to play along and see the doctor's true motive. The psychologist probes further, asking if any other troubles plague him besides the memory issue. Fan Xiao admits he has many problems, and the doctor eagerly asks him to elaborate. He begins listing his incredible abilities as issues like winning the lottery on his first try, stunning the doctor. Dr. Chen interrupts, wondering if his patient is just a chosen one, humble bragging about a perfect life. The doctor fires off a series of specific questions about strange urges and increased strength, all of which Fan Xiao denies. Frustrated, the psychologist concludes he's not the target he was looking for and resolves to follow normal procedure. With a knowing smirk, Fan Xiao utters a cryptic code phrase, anemic earring, catching the doctor off guard. In a flash of red, Fan Xiao executes a blindingly fast maneuver across the desk. The doctor is left with fresh marks across his face, staring in utter shock at what just happened. The doctor stares in utter disbelief, the fresh marks on his face a stinging reminder of his miscalculation. Fan Xiao sits back coolly, aiming a finger gun at the stunned psychologist with a confident wink. Realizing his opponent is also a player who used a game item, the doctor's professional demeanor shatters. A sudden wave of dizziness overwhelms the doctor, who clutches his head in a pained stupor. He collapses to the floor, disoriented by what he assumes is Fan Xiao's item as the teacup is picked up. Fan Xiao grabs the doctor's collar, confirming his suspicion that Dr. Chen is also a player in the game. He turns the tables completely, forcing the drugged tea toward the struggling doctor's mouth. The doctor resists, trying to deny everything while being forced to drink his own concoction. Impressed by his mental resistance, Fan Xiao decides to escalate, revealing a vial of E-rank truth serum. The doctor sits defeated on the floor, now completely at the mercy of the young man towering over him. Fan Xiao observes the truth serum taking full effect, seeing the doctor's will completely crumble. He begins his interrogation, and the doctor immediately confesses to being an E-rank player. The psychologist reveals his clinic is a front to lure in other players and evolvers for his organization. Fan Xiao deduces this is a rogue player-built group fishing for recruits, not an official government agency. He pulls out his phone, deciding to record the confession for the Special Affairs Bureau. When asked about their motive, the doctor chillingly admits they farm other players like livestock. He explains they use special items to control their targets' families, forcing them to surrender dungeon rewards. Intrigued by this dark power, Fan Xiao's eyes narrow as he presses for more information on the item. The doctor describes a D-rank item owned by his boss that can remotely inflict a fatal illness. He confirms their leader is a powerful D-rank player who has been in the evolution game since its inception. The doctor confesses that out of 4 targets, 2 were eliminated with their families for resisting. Fan Xiao calmly processes this, unsurprised by the existence of such a predatory player group. He continues his line of questioning, probing for their other methods of locating players. The doctor reveals they also deceive players inside dungeons, though he claims his clinic is the most effective recruitment tool. Fan Xiao sighs, wryly noting that his bad luck accumulation must be setting a new record. He demands a full roster of the organization, learning they have 6 core members and 12 enslaved players. Having recorded enough damning evidence for the authorities, he stops the video on his phone. A menacing grin spreads across his face as he declares, "It's time to deal with personal business." He gets personal, demanding the doctor reveal every game item in his possession. The doctor's 3 E-rank items are revealed: a stun device, a binding whip, and a strange weather-predicting doll. Fan Xiao calmly orders the defeated doctor to hand over all his items for free. His expression shifts to surprise as the doctor suddenly regains a sliver of his will. The doctor activates his glowing binding whip, forcing Fan Xiao to leap back defensively. Fan Xiao smirks, noting that the doctor's first instinct upon recovery is to attack. With his sanity restored, the doctor's face twists in rage as he accuses Fan Xiao of being a predatory player. With a simple snap of his fingers, Fan Xiao inflicts immense pain on the doctor, causing him to drop the whip. As the doctor collapses, Fan Xiao casually picks up the whip and issues a chilling warning about his absolute power. He slightly eases the pressure on the doctor, then commands him to relinquish his remaining items. The doctor struggles up, defiantly refusing to surrender his possessions despite the dire situation. Fan Xiao looks on with amusement, intrigued by the doctor's unexpected bravery in the face of certain doom. Fan Xiao unleashes a terrifying power, his hand phasing through the doctor's arm with a crimson glow. The doctor's defiance shatters, and he desperately offers up his items in exchange for his life. With a confident smirk, Fan Xiao holds up the doctor's phone, now enveloped in a strange red energy. The doctor frantically tries to negotiate, pleading for his life with a last-ditch proposal. Fan Xiao calmly questions the doctor's panic, clarifying he never explicitly threatened to end him. He then casually dismisses the doctor's items as trivial, only good for selling for game coins. The doctor is left speechless as Fan Xiao declares his intention to simply turn him over to the authorities. He reveals the damning evidence on his phone, blackmailing the doctor into surrendering his items or facing a fabricated self-defense story. The doctor stares in stunned silence, realizing he's been completely outmaneuvered and trapped. Fan Xiao kneels down, explaining that while he doesn't want the items, something is always better than nothing. Fan Xiao gives the doctor a 10-second ultimatum to make his decision. In a desperate plea, the doctor tries to recruit Fan Xiao, promising him a share of their organization's vast resources. Unimpressed by the offer, Fan Xiao calmly continues his countdown, ignoring the doctor's frantic sales pitch. The doctor makes a final, desperate appeal, comparing their predatory growth to that of powerful capitalists. As the countdown nears its end, pure terror fills the doctor's eyes. With his will completely broken, the doctor finally surrenders, agreeing to hand over all his items. Fan Xiao mockingly commends his choice, noting that this decision buys him a few more days of life before his inevitable punishment. Outside the clinic, several official-looking black cars from the Special Affairs Bureau arrive on the scene. Fan Xiao glances over, acknowledging the arrival of the authorities he summoned. Armed agents storm the room, with one officer wryly asking Fan Xiao if he's cursed to attract trouble wherever he goes. The officer wryly questions how Fan Xiao finds trouble so quickly, calling him a walking jinx. Fan Xiao retorts that he's a criminal's jinx and boasts that his luck is far superior. The officer shifts his focus, asking about Fan Xiao's mental state, given his appointment at the clinic. Fan Xiao cheekily admits he must have a problem if he's always thinking about how to catch criminals. The officer is surprised Fan Xiao contacted him directly, but Fan Xiao wanted to gauge the Bureau's power. The captain sees this case as a major performance boost, hoping it will lead to a promotion. He proudly reveals that he successfully advanced to a D-grade player after the hotel dungeon. Intrigued, Fan Xiao asks about the changes, learning the biggest is an expanded activity range. The captain explains that while E-grade players are restricted, D-grade players have no such limitations. He clarifies that D-grade players can now freely explore the world a dungeon is attached to after clearing it. Fan Xiao asks about the nature of these other worlds, imagining utopias and magical realms. The captain soberly recalls that his first D-grade dungeon world was anything but beautiful. He describes a regressed civilization where powerful players became kings, ruling over the weak. Yet, he's heard rumors of other worlds that have fully integrated, creating advanced and harmonious societies. The captain expresses a wistful hope that their world might one day achieve a similar peace. Shifting gears, Fan Xiao inquires about the number of dungeons required to reach D-grade. The captain reveals it depends on performance, suggesting that 3 consecutive A ratings could be the fastest path. A female agent enters the room, signaling the end of their discussion. She confirms Dr. Chung is in custody and his accomplices are being hunted down. The captain cheerfully departs, telling Fan Xiao to keep finding trouble so he can get promoted. The captain and his subordinate cheerfully wave goodbye to Fan Xiao. Back at his apartment, Fan Xiao receives a system notification confirming the recovery of the Sunny Doll item. He examines the doctor's other 2 items, realizing they are too powerful for him to use at his current level. Deeming them impractical, he stores the items away, saving them for a potential trade in the future. His train of thought is interrupted by his phone buzzing on the table. A message from an old acquaintance reveals she and her sister are arriving in his city soon. Fan Xiao smirks, offering to pick them up and cryptically adding that he needs their help. The scene shifts to the bustling airport parking lot. As the clock strikes noon, he decides to deactivate his luck-gathering ability for now. Leaning against his car, Fan Xiao patiently waits for his mysterious guest to arrive. His sharp gaze shifts as he hears a familiar voice calling his name. 2 sisters, Lu Xining and Lu Xiaotu, wave enthusiastically as they spot him. He greets the sisters, recognizing the younger one, Lu Xiaotu, by her distinctive hoodie. Fan Xiao offers to treat them to a meal, and Lu Xining asks him to choose a place since they're new to the city. With a charming smile, he suggests a good restaurant and invites them into his car. As Lu Xining gets in the car, Fan Xiao silently questions her revealing outfit, suspecting a hidden motive. A sudden thought strikes him as he considers the possibilities within the game system. He realizes the truth when she confirms her skirt and socks are actually powerful game items. She reveals the skirt is incredibly useful, possessing a self-cleaning function and the ability to shrink her puppets. To demonstrate, she shows how her massive puppets become nearly weightless accessories, leaving Fan Xiao amazed. As they drive, Fan Xiao outlines their plan for the day, but Lu Xiaotu questions why they aren't heading straight for a dungeon. Fan Xiao reveals the true reason for their visit, stating he specifically needs the help of someone named Lu Baiji. At the restaurant, Lu Xining reacts with complete shock after Fan Xiao explains his intentions. She correctly deduces his plan is to test a cursed item against Baiji's legendary good luck. Lu Xining scolds him for keeping such a dangerous item, wondering why he hasn't disposed of it. Unfazed, Fan Xiao justifies his decision, claiming a causality-altering item is too rare and potentially useful to discard. Giving up, Lu Xining defers the decision to the person in question, revealing her younger sister is the Baiji he needs. The younger sister, Baiji, eagerly accepts the task, shyly asking what Fan Xiao requires of her. He simply asks her to stay close and wish him good luck, a task she enthusiastically agrees to. Fan Xiao internally notes that Baiji's presence is already neutralizing any misfortune, dubbing her his little lucky star. Lu Xining's curiosity is piqued, asking about the other 2 items Fan Xiao acquired. He reveals the items' bizarre names, extreme electrotherapy and passionate restraint, shocking the sisters. Fan Xiao insists the items are more practical than their names suggest and encourages them to look closer. Lu Xining claims the extreme electrotherapy for her puppet, leaving the passionate restraint for her sister. Baiji agrees the restraint item suits her, revealing she also possesses an item called Poison Master. She devises a strategy to combine the restraint with her poison, immobilizing targets while the toxins work. Lu Xining stares at her sister, shocked by this unexpectedly dark and tactical mindset. The older sister quickly scolds Baiji for being too open about her abilities, reminding her to be more cautious. Changing the subject, Fan Xiao explains he needs Baiji's help to test yet another item. He reveals an item that uses his own blood for power, requiring Baiji's healing talent to offset the dangerous drawback. Fan Xiao notes that since Baiji's arrival, his usual string of natural disasters has been suspiciously absent. He hands over the items, telling the sisters to familiarize themselves with their new gear before the next dungeon. Suddenly, an unnatural downpour begins inside the building, catching the trio completely off guard. Lu Xining panics, wondering if his bad luck item is finally kicking in, but Fan Xiao remains uncertain. Without warning, the ceiling above them shatters, sending a shower of debris crashing down around them. Fan Xiao's eyes widen in shock as he spots a figure falling through the newly created hole. A woman in a disheveled business suit, whom he recognizes as Wu Yanqing, lands hard amidst the wreckage. Lying injured on the floor, she weakly corrects her name to Wu Yan. Fan Xiao confirms to the sisters that she's from the Special Affairs Office and immediately rushes to her side. He catches the injured agent, holding her as she looks up at him, dazed from the fall. Holding her close, Fan Xiao learns her attackers are from the notorious Kriya group. From the hole above, a muscular man mocks the weakness of the Special Affairs Office. The man lunges from the upper floor, aiming to finish off the injured agent. Fan Xiao's eyes flare with a cold blue light as he prepares to counter. He intercepts the attack with a powerful shoulder tackle, stopping the brute in his tracks. The assailant grimaces, shocked by Fan Xiao's unexpected strength and resilience. Sent flying backward, the man laughs wildly, unfazed by the powerful blow. The attacker, a member of the Kriya group, arrogantly challenges Fan Xiao for daring to interfere. Fan Xiao recoils, realizing his opponent's strength surpasses that of a normal player. Baizi watches with wide-eyed concern as Fan Xiao struggles after the initial clash. Baizi leaps into action, activating the item now known as the Tether of Affection. An ethereal rope shoots from her hand, flying straight toward the Kriya group member. The glowing tether binds the brute, but he merely scoffs at the attempt to restrain him. He flexes his immense power, straining the magical ropes to their breaking point. Baizi watches in horror as her powerful item begins to fail against his raw strength. Lu Xining pushes her sister back, stepping forward to take control of the fight. She summons her own power, channeling it into a small, unassuming doll. The doll instantly expands into a massive armored puppet, stunning the enemy with its sudden appearance. Undeterred, the attacker commands his own puppet to unleash a powerful electric attack. Lu Xining's puppet gracefully evades the strike, which shatters the floor where it just stood. The Kriya member is stunned as Lu Xining's puppet, wielding the electrotherapy item, swoops in for a surprise attack. He roars in agony as the puppet multiplies, overwhelming him with a relentless barrage of electric shocks. The attacker grimaces in disbelief, recognizing the items as belonging to someone named Zheng Xiao. Lu Xining's puppet readies itself for the final blow, its mechanical eyes fixed on its target. Seeing an opening, Fan Xiao furiously orders the puppet to end the fight decisively. The puppet descends upon the immobilized man, delivering a flurry of swift, disabling strikes. The brute lies defeated on the floor, with the victorious puppet standing over him, bizarrely holding a wine glass. With the immediate threat neutralized, Lu Xining activates a recovery item to tend to the injured. Just as they relax, dark, shadowy figures materialize around the sisters, trapping them in an instant. Fan Xiao's eyes widen in alarm as he realizes the fight is far from over. Realizing the dire situation, Fan Xiao grabs Baiji, yelling that they need to escape immediately. He steps into a mysterious blue energy that has suddenly appeared on the floor beneath them. The entire group is violently pulled into a swirling vortex, whisked away from the scene. In a flash, they find themselves transported to a completely different location, a deserted island. The four of them descend from the sky, landing unsteadily on the sandy beach. Fan Xiao quickly analyzes their new tropical surroundings, baffled by the sudden shift in location. Concluding this is no mere illusion, he deactivates his luck-based ability, sensing the situation is out of his control. During the chaotic teleport, he had instinctively grabbed both sisters' hands to keep them close. He quickly lets go, apologizing for his sudden action during the emergency. Turning to the agent, Fan Xiao questions who is responsible for the teleport, but she defers her explanation. Wu Yan explains that two opposing groups were teleported here, proposing a temporary truce to face a common threat. The leaders of the two factions are revealed, the rugged Du Ruo and the sharp-suited Liu Xiong, both D-grade players. Liu Xiong expresses surprise, realizing that the notorious player Du Ruo has also been dragged into this strange situation. Du Ruo sizes up his rival, recalling intel that identifies Liu Xiong as a well-equipped D-grade player. Du Ruo concedes they underestimated the government's player organization, then questions if the teleport was their doing. Fan Xiao and the sisters watch the tense standoff, now the center of attention for both factions. One of Liu Xiong's men panics, recognizing Fan Xiao and his infamous streak of bad luck. With a confident smirk, Du Ruo proposes a ceasefire, seeing a chance to de-escalate the immediate conflict. Liu Xiong reluctantly agrees, calculating that an alliance with Du Ruo increases their odds of survival. The truce shatters instantly as a player unleashes an attack with an item ominously named the Toothpick of Fury. A volley of sharp projectiles rains down from above, targeting Du Ruo and his men. Unfazed, Du Ruo activates his dust-free shield, effortlessly deflecting the surprise assault. The attacker, one of Liu Xiong's subordinates, reacts with fury as his ambush is easily thwarted. Du Ruo smirks, questioning if this betrayal signals the complete breakdown of their truce. Another of Liu Xiong's men steps forward, conjuring a powerful arrow of light to finish the job. The glowing arrow transforms into a massive energy projectile, rocketing towards Du Ruo. Du Ruo watches with a grim expression as the blindingly bright attack closes in on him. The powerful arrow slams into its target, engulfing Du Ruo in a brilliant explosion. In a shocking twist, the first attacker is suddenly set ablaze, crying out in agony. The source of the fiery retaliation is revealed to be a mysterious glowing red item. The attacker reveals his weapon, the Staff of Crimson, unleashing a torrent of fiery energy. Du Ruo frantically orders his men to disperse as the attack barrels towards them. The crimson energy detonates in a massive explosion, scattering Liu Xiong's forces across the beach. Liu Qiong ends his footing, his expression hardening as he assesses his fallen subordinates. With glowing green eyes, Liu Xiong materializes a menacing dark blade, preparing for a serious counteroffensive. The staff wielder retaliates with a flame serpent's blaze, sending a barrage of fiery snakes toward his target. Liu Xiong moves with blinding speed, effortlessly weaving through the deadly projectiles with his dark sword. In a desperate move, Liu Xiong unleashes his own ultimate attack, the Hellfire Orb, engulfing the area in a blinding light. Du Ruo stares down the immense fiery sphere, his expression a mixture of grim determination and surprise. The staff-wielding attacker realizes he is outmatched, acknowledging that his opponent's speed and power will soon overwhelm him. Pushed to his limit, Du Ruo's face twists in fury as he prepares to unleash his own power. Liu Xiong continues his relentless charge, closing the distance to Du Ruo's group. Du Ruo urgently orders his subordinate Zhu Ji to intercept their attacker and buy them some time. Zhu Ji activates his unique talent, an unusual ability named Socially Awesome Syndrome. A hypnotic purple spiral appears in Liu Xiong's eyes, catching him completely by surprise. He struggles against an unseen force, realizing his body is no longer under his own command. Zhu Ji successfully locks gazes with the paralyzed Liu Xiong, holding him captive with his ability. Seeing his chance, Du Ruo orders a tactical retreat, using the distraction to regroup his forces. His gaze then falls upon Fan Xiao's party, dismissing them as ordinary people caught in the chaos. A sinister plan forms in his mind to eliminate some of the bystanders and take the rest as hostages. Before Du Ruo can act on his sinister plan, one of his men is struck down by a lightning-fast attack. Fan Xiao is revealed as the assailant, having moved too quickly for the subordinate to even react. He calmly watches as the remaining members of Du Ruo's group flee in terror. Fan Xiao reveals the source of his power, a glowing red dagger transformed from his anemic earring. As the human conflict subsides, a more primal threat emerges from the dense island jungle. A pack of monstrous red-eyed creatures bursts from the trees, their roars signaling a new hunt. The sudden appearance of these beasts startles both Fan Xiao's party and the fleeing players. Baiji recognizes the monsters as failed human evolutions, a familiar horror from a past trial. Wu Yan tells her sister to stay close, activating a seemingly harmless keychain with a blue glow. In a bizarre twist, the keychain summons a gigantic, muscular teddy bear in a frilly dress to act as their guardian. Liu Xiong is stunned by the bizarre summon, realizing his group must now rely on Fan Xiao's party to survive the monster horde. Elsewhere, one of Du Ruo's men snaps at his dazed comrades, trying to get them back into the fight. Fan Xiao ignores the chaos, his resolve hardening as he remembers the lingering threat to his family. With cold determination in his eyes, he decides that Du Ruo's entire faction must be eliminated on this island. Suddenly, Juji's rabbit ears twitch, sensing an incoming high-speed danger. Before a warning can be given, Fan Xiao closes the distance in a blur, his dagger aimed right at Du Ruo. Du Ruo hastily conjures a red energy shield, dismissing his attacker as a mere E-grade player. Fan Xiao smirks, correcting Du Ruo's fatal miscalculation by revealing his true D-grade status. A demonic figure materializes behind Fan Xiao, smugly informing Du Ruo that his fate is already sealed. Du Ruo launches a desperate counterattack, but his projectile begins to crack and shatter mid-air. The demonic figure's sharp claws press against Du Ruo's throat, leaving him paralyzed with fear. With a flash of red, the demon blitzes through the battlefield, taking out Du Ruo's remaining subordinates. Fan Xiao smirks with satisfaction as his overwhelming power concludes the confrontation. He calmly walks away from the massive explosion that has just wiped out his enemies. Wu Yan and Baiji watch on, acknowledging Fan Xiao's questionable methods but undeniable strength. Liu Xiong's men are stunned by the display, but he quickly rallies them to focus on the approaching monsters. His subordinate joins the fray, launching a volley of light-based attacks at the monstrous horde. Wu Yan unleashes a powerful torrent of electricity, eager to contribute to the battle. Baizi follows suit, conjuring golden energy whips to restrain the charging beasts. Their combined attacks effectively neutralize the monsters, leaving them incapacitated on the beach. Baizi steps forward, insisting on handling the remaining monsters herself to conserve Fan Xiao's strength. Unfazed, Fan Xiao calmly walks into the midst of the snarling beasts, ready to finish the job himself. His red dagger pulses with a malevolent glow as he prepares to unleash another devastating attack. In a blur of motion, he unleashes a storm of energy, striking down multiple monsters simultaneously. He casually steps over the remains of a fallen creature, the battle already decided. Fan Xiao stands unfazed in the aftermath, surrounded by the remnants of the swiftly dispatched horde. The other players watch in stunned silence as he walks away from the carnage he single-handedly created. Liu Xiong's subordinate stares in utter disbelief, unable to reconcile Fan Xiao's power with his supposed rank. The demonic figure reappears, her sharp nails resting on his shoulder as she playfully counts the fallen. She perches on his shoulder, cheekily expressing her admiration for his overwhelming display of power. The demonic figure leans in, expressing her boredom and desire for more entertainment. Her gaze lands on Wu Yan and Baiji, whom she playfully singles out as her next targets for amusement. Fan Xiao flatly denies her request, leaving the tiny demoness visibly disappointed. He pragmatically orders the pouting demon to use her remaining summon time to fly him up for an aerial survey. From above, they discover a surprisingly large and organized settlement nestled in the island's interior. Using a spyglass, he instructs her to circle the town for a more detailed reconnaissance. He finds it deeply suspicious that a human town could exist peacefully on an island overrun by monsters. His spyglass confirms the threat, revealing more of the red-eyed beasts lurking just outside the settlement. As the demon's summoning time expires, Fan Xiao lands firmly back on the ground. He rejoins his party and reports his findings, confirming a large, inhabited town lies at the island's core. He elaborates on his aerial survey, confirming the island is crawling with monsters outside the single human settlement. Wu Yan voices her suspicion, finding it strange that humans could survive here and worrying about their chances against a massive horde. She proposes they seek refuge in the town, believing its residents must have a defense strategy, a plan Fan Xiao readily accepts. He adds that they must cooperate with the Special Affairs Bureau agents, who likely possess crucial information about the island. Fan Xiao suddenly calls out to Baiji, catching the young girl off guard. He gently reassures her, explaining that he's already cleared the immediate area of threats, earning her gratitude. Baiji tries to settle their debt for the items he provided, but he waves off the payment, suggesting a different kind of deal. He proposes that instead of money, she must stay with him and lend her support for the foreseeable future, leaving her speechless. Fan Xiao explains his rationale, needing her unique luck-based abilities to counter his own misfortune and support his combat power. He internally reflects on her rare combination of healing and causality-altering passives, recognizing her as an invaluable asset to the team. Fan Xiao clarifies his offer is for long-term employment, a deal Wu Yan accepts as long as her sister agrees. Wu Yan turns to Baiji, leaving the final decision on the surprising partnership up to her. After a moment of consideration, a slightly flustered Baiji agrees to join Fan Xiao's team. With the new alliance forged, Fan Xiao moves on to business, preparing to distribute the loot from their recent battle. He presents the first prize, an E-rank item called the Dustless Shield, a simple but elegant necklace. The item's history reveals it was crafted by a germophobic mage to create a personal barrier against unwanted contact. Its powerful repulsion field can block anything from bullets to cannonballs, impressing the two sisters. Fan Xiao then offers up his old E-rank Myriad Transformations magic clothing, as he's recently upgraded his own gear. Wu Yan encourages her hesitant sister to take the versatile armor, suggesting she can get it as an advance on her new salary. A system notification surprises Wu Yan, revealing the clothing is compatible with her own gear and can be fused into a single, more powerful item. Fan Xiao realizes he's found a new use for his game coins, fusing compatible items. Baizi urges her sister to take the magic clothing, but Wu Yan sheepishly admits she's broke. Offering a salary advance, Baizi convinces her sister to accept, curious to witness the item fusion herself. Wu Yan initiates the fusion, combining the Myriad Transformations magic clothing with her own absolute domain. A brilliant light envelops Wu Yan as she instinctively names her newly created item Fairy Tale. The fusion completes, transforming her casual clothes into an elaborate, fairy tale-inspired dress. A system notification confirms the successful fusion and rank upgrade, prompting Fan Xiao to ask about its new abilities. Wu Yan explains the transformation power has been amplified, but hints at a second, more versatile function. She shyly reveals the clothing can now morph into any appearance she desires. Baizi playfully exposes her sister's love for cute outfits, leaving Fan Xiao with a look of sudden realization. A flustered Wu Yan tries to silence her sister, who looks on with a defeated pout. Fan Xiao inquires about the new armor's stats, learning it now has a convenient self-repair function. Their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of the Special Affairs Bureau agents. The lead agent, Du Ruo, introduces himself and presents his official identification. Fan Xiao vouches for Du Ruo as a trusted friend, prompting the two groups to formally introduce themselves. Baizi's keen eyes suddenly lock onto one of the agents, noticing an injury. She steps forward to heal the injured woman, whose pain is replaced by a soothing warmth. Baizi cheerfully reveals her rare and valuable talent is healing. The other injured agents immediately clamor for her attention, eager for her restorative touch. As Baizi tends to the others, Fan Xiao correctly deduces that Du Ruo has a specific reason for seeking him out. Du Ruo asks about the aerial survey, but Fan Xiao demands an exchange of intelligence first. The agent readily agrees, seeing no reason to hide the details of their sudden transfer. Fan Xiao accepts the deal, but insists they find a safer place to talk before sharing details. He reveals he's already mapped out a safer route to the town, urging everyone to move out. As they set off, Fan Xiao begins to brief the agents on the island's layout. Du Ruo presses for more information, asking what Fan Xiao meant by calling this place an instance. The agent explains this is a random instance, a rare spatial distortion event with a low survival rate. The women in the group react with shock and concern to this grim revelation. Du Ruo clarifies their only way out is to clear the instance or, alternatively, use a special ticket. The mention of a ticket triggers a sudden realization for Fan Xiao, who remembers the items he collected earlier. Fan Xiao questions how they can clear the instance without a quest, but Du Ruo reveals they must trigger it themselves. The agent theorizes the quest trigger is located in the human town, the island's central point. Their destination is a large walled town with a distinctly old-world European aesthetic. Wu Yan realizes this could mean encountering other players, assuming the instance isn't private. Fan Xiao reveals he possesses an island instance ticket, sparking Du Ruo's intense curiosity about the unbelievable coincidence. The ticket is for the Sacrificial Island instance at the Star Remembrance Corridor Station, a name that stuns Du Ruo. He recalls his own grim experience at that station, describing a world where civilization has collapsed and powerful players rule. Du Ruo expresses hope that the ticket works, confident they can clear an E-rank instance together, though Fan Xiao seems less optimistic. Fan Xiao privately recalls that even low-rank instances can hide high-level threats, remembering a particularly difficult boss from his past. Changing the subject, Fan Xiao questions Du Ruo about the public brawl at the mall, prompting a weary sigh from the agent. Du Ruo explains their mission was to arrest a tricky farming organization who used a precognitive item to flee into the instance. Changing topics, Fan Xiao checks on Baizi, asking about the mental toll of her recent healing spree. She admits to using half her energy, prompting Fan Xiao to forbid her from using her talent further and to stay by his side. He reminds her that as his employee, Her primary duty is to him, causing a flustered Baiji to agree. After a 2-hour journey, the group finally reaches the outskirts of the walled town. Fan Xiao finds the town's peaceful state suspicious, noting the ancient walls seem too weak to have survived any real threat. Suddenly, a system notification startles everyone, announcing the Sacrificial Island instance has officially begun. Duruo and his agents are equally shocked, as they weren't expecting the instance to activate on its own. The system confirms the start of the instance, showing a panoramic view of the island where their trial will unfold. A background introduction describes the location as Loki Island, a seemingly idyllic paradise known for its happy citizens and delicious fish. The system reveals the island's tragic past. A sudden monster invasion shattered the peace and scattered its people. A mysterious island god emerged, demanding sacrifices in exchange for protection, eventually renaming the place Sacrificial Island. The system lays out the rules for survival: find lodging, limit group sizes, and avoid harming locals, with 2 paths to victory. Duruo confirms the instance's identity, while Fan Xiao deflects any praise for his seemingly prophetic ticket. Wu Yan correctly assesses the high danger of a survival quest, while Baiji questions the existence of a literal god on the island. She theorizes the island god might not be a deity at all, but simply a powerful entity with a fancy title. Duruo playfully questions Fan Xiao's close relationship with Wu Yan, who coolly shuts down the romantic speculation. The sisters deduce that the island god is a conditional threat, only punishing those who break the established rules. Wu Yan astutely realizes their true enemy is likely something else entirely, lurking beyond the system's explicit warnings. Duruo supports her theory, suggesting the god's alignment is unknown, and urges the group to remain on high alert for any danger. With time running out before nightfall, Fan Xiao proposes they split up to efficiently find lodging. Duruo immediately questions Fan Xiao's motives, suspecting another one of his elaborate schemes. The agent checks the time, setting a rendezvous for 6:30 p.m. to share their findings before darkness falls. With the plan set and agreed upon, the 2 leaders give the signal for everyone to move out. A blushing Baiji timidly asks if their small group of 3 is required to stay together. Wu Yan explains the strategic necessity of sticking together, completely misinterpreting her sister's flustered question. Baiji cheekily clarifies her true concern was about her sleeping arrangements for the night. She innocently connects her employment duties to Fan Xiao's order to stay close, leaving him momentarily stunned. Fan Xiao quickly shuts down her implication, reminding her that his primary concern is the tactical use of her limited healing talent. He explains that her safety is paramount, as her talent leaves her weakened, and vaguely suggests they remain in close proximity at night. Wu Yan playfully teases her blushing sister, questioning if she's lovesick or just overly honest. Fan Xiao cuts in, outlining his plan to create blood weapons and have Baiji restore his health afterward. He activates his power, and his magical anemic earrings begin to glow with a menacing light. As Fan Xiao conjures a mass of blood energy, Baiji places her hands on his back to begin healing him. He successfully forges a sharp crimson blade, intending to repeat the process to build an arsenal. After several repetitions, Baiji slumps in exhaustion, her spiritual power completely depleted. Fan Xiao reflects that the weapons are incredibly strong, and the side effect of sleeplessness is actually a benefit for him. With their preparations finished, Baiji points out a building she thinks would be a suitable place to stay. The trio approaches the timber-framed house, with Fan Xiao leading the way to the front door. As they get closer, the door creaks open to reveal a small, wide-eyed girl looking out at them. The little girl's eye widens in a mixture of fear and hostility. She angrily shouts at the group, demanding they leave her home immediately. Wu Yan grows concerned, wondering if her sister's luck in finding the best lodging has failed. A man's foot steps into view as he sharply reprimands the child for her actions. The girl's father appears, offering a warm welcome and apologizing for the cold reception. He explains that his daughter's attitude is due to bad experiences with previous outsiders. The man then sternly sends the girl to her room, revealing an oracle instructed them to be hospitable.